Chapter 689. Sima Yue looked up and saw that everyone was looking at her. She blinked and smiled. Nothing. Every time you have something on your mind, you will rub your nose with your hand. Sima Yuran said. Sima Yue's hand, which was touching her nose, paused. She did not know if she should let go of her hand or not. Fifth bro, what are you thinking? Sima Yuqi was curious as well. Sima Yue put down her hand, hesitated for a moment and said, Feng and I have an idea, but we haven't told you. Originally, I was thinking of telling you about it in the future, but there's no harm in telling you now. Wah, you guys are still hiding something from us. Fatty Chu cried out. Sima Yue glared at him and said, I don't want to drag you guys down with me. Wah, you want to do something bad. Fatty Chu jumped up. If you keep spouting nonsense, I'll beat you up. Sima Yue waved her fist and Fatty Chu immediately sat back down. Yue, what are you trying to do? Why are you hiding it from us? This was also what the others wanted to ask her. It's like this. As you know, Feng and I have a very strong enemy. In order to take revenge in the future, we decided to form a force. Sima Yue said. Build a force. This is a good thing. Why did you hide it from us? Sima Yue chuckled. Fourth bro, if the matter of forming a force was so simple, why would fifth bro hide it from us? Sima Yuran said. I'm guessing that this matter isn't so simple, right? That's right. Sima Yue nodded. If we go against the Yinyang Palace and the Zhongzheng clan in the future, it will definitely be a matter of life and death. Therefore, we don't intend to find ordinary people. Not an ordinary person. Sima Yue nodded. We want to build a group of people who are not afraid of death. In the future, they will have to face life and death. So you didn't plan to tell us about this because you were afraid of implicating us. Sima Yuming said. Sima Yue nodded. That was exactly what she meant. That's why you're interested in the 10 great evildoers. Sima Yulin said with certainty. Yes, since those people aren't really bad people, but they have a reputation. With just the 10 of them, they were able to coexist peacefully after being hunted down for so many years. Presumably, each of them had some ability. My scarlet bees have been around for so many years. When have they ever been discovered? If I hadn't purposely separated them this time, I wouldn't have heard any news about them. Then what do you plan to do? Sima Yuqi asked. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Was he planning to get involved? Big brother you. Since it's your problem, it's naturally our brother's problem as well. No matter how difficult it is in the future, we will face it with you. Sima Yuqi looked at her steadily. That's right, fifth bro. You're in the wrong. You should have told us about this earlier. We could have planned it together with you. Sima Yuming pretended to reprimand her. Yes, Yu is wrong. Sima Yue said with a smile. They're all going. I want to go too. When the time comes, if you want to create a branch hall, I'll be the hall master. Fatty Chu said with a smile. Since everyone is going, we've always been together. Naturally, we won't be lacking. Wei Ziqi added. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei nodded as well. You guys. Sima Yue looked at their resolute eyes and was moved. Do you know that once you get involved, it'll be very dangerous? We understand. I want to go too. I want to go too. Little Seven jumped up. Little Seven, you want to go too? Fatty Chu looked at her strangely. Why can't I come? Little Seven put her hands on her hips and glared at Fatty Chu. Can you come? Sima Yue joined in. Why can't I come? Little Seven glared again. Sima Yue patted Little Seven's head and said, If you come in, Principal Yuan will want to kill me. He won't. Little Seven huffed. He said that I'll make my own decisions in the future. There's only one thing I can't do. What? You're not allowed to leave the central and outer regions. If you want to leave these 2 regions, you have to tell him. Little Seven sat back in her seat and said while swinging her short legs. Everyone looked at her with deep meaning. Sima Yue told them, before that Little Seven's identity was not simple. Now that they heard what she said, they were even more curious about her identity. Since Principal Yuan has already said so, you can join in if you want. But you have to promise me one thing. Otherwise, I won't let you join in. Sima Yue said. What condition? No matter what happens in the future, you can't tell anyone. Sima Yue requested. Can't I tell anyone? Little Seven tilted her head and asked. It's not that you can't tell anyone. But if you want to tell anyone, you have to get my permission first. Sima Yue said. Alright, I promise you. Little Seven nodded in agreement. Then you, how do you plan to recruit them? We have nothing now, and they are more powerful than us. If you want them to listen to you, it won't be easy. Sima Yulin said. Yes, this is indeed difficult. Sima Yuming said. Then we'll have to see if I have the ability. Sima Yue picked up a spirit fruit and played with it in her hand. She didn't eat it. What ability? Fatty Chu asked. Stupid. Little Seven looked at him with disdain. Huh. Fatty Chu, your brain only knows how to refine tools and eat. When will you use it to think? Since their third brother is seriously ill, if Yu has the ability, wouldn't this be a good opportunity? Wei Ziqi said. That's right. Fatty Chu clapped his hands. Then when do you plan to look for them? Sima Yue smiled. Tomorrow. So fast. Not only was Fatty Chu surprised, even Sima Yulin and the others were surprised. Since they aren't easy to deal with, then let's go straight to them. Sima Yue finished speaking and took a bite of the spirit fruit in her hand. On the second day, there was a knock on the door of the small courtyard. UC and Anai, who were in the front yard, looked at each other. Why would someone knock on the door at this time? Anai asked. We've stayed here for so many days, and no one came to look for us. Now that everyone isn't here, why would someone come? Could it be? I'll go take a look. You stay here and guard. If it is, take third bro away. UC said. Okay. Anai turned around. Before he left, he saw Shurchen standing not far away. If someone really chased us here, I won't implicate you. Third bro. Anai called out anxiously. My brothers aren't here. If you really take me away, you'll take fourth bro's life. Can you bear to? Shurchen patted his shoulder and urged. The knocking sounds outside are urgent. It won't be good if we delay any longer. Go open the door. Third bro, we just found out that someone was watching us yesterday. Today, someone is knocking on the door. I'm afraid. UC said worriedly. If it's someone chasing us, they won't knock on the door so politely. Shurchen said. Also, 10th bro and the others should be back soon. Chapter 690. Crazy Wife. 5th Miss Miracle Dr. Crazy Wife. 5th Miss Miracle Dr. Crazy Wife. 5th Miss Miracle Dr. 690, the newest version of Readable Chinese Network. Welcome to Readable Chinese Network. Crazy Wife. Godly Physician 5th Young Mistress, no pop-up window reading. Fan Bonewood's new book Crazy Wife. Godly Physician 5th Young Mistress, current location. The Voice of God. Crazy Wife. 5th Miss of the Divine Doctor 1. 2. 3. Wink with a frown. Chapter 690. Abduction 1 is provided for you. Please enjoy. Sima Yue stood outside the door. The little golden snake had come out to play today, so she had no choice but to call it out and play with it in her hands. The little golden snake coiled around Sima Yue's finger and licked her other finger from time to time. Yue, is there any use knocking on the door like this? Bei Gong Tang asked when she saw that Sima Yue was only lowering her head to play with the little golden snake. You'll know in a while whether it's useful or not. Sima Yue poked the little golden snake's head with her other finger. Creak. The door opened, and Yusi saw an absolute beauty standing outside. There was also a handsome young man with his head lowered, playing with a snake. No matter how he looked at it, these two people did not look like they were here to hunt them down. Who are you? Who are you looking for? Yusi still looked at them warily. We're looking for your third brother. Bei Gong Tang said with a smile. Looking for my third brother? What business do you have? Yusi asked again. To discuss some things. Bei Gong Tang didn't know what she was talking about. My third brother's health isn't good. It's not suitable for him to receive guests. Yusi said as he moved to close the door. Fourth brother, let them in. Cough cough. Shurchen coughed a few times and instructed. Yusi didn't understand, but he still opened the door. Please. Sima Yue poked little golden snake again, before striding into the mansion. As they walked past the courtyard, they saw a sickly pale, skinny man leaning against the door frame in the middle of the courtyard. looking at them calmly. What a gentle man. It seemed that not only was this rumor fake, it was also ridiculously fake. 1. Those bees are yours. This was the first thing Shurchen said when he saw Sima Yue. Sima Yue did not deny it. This man's eyes were very sharp, so it was not strange that he could guess that bee was hers. You are a guest. Please come to the living room for tea. Cough cough. Forget about drinking tea. I don't think you guys are in the mood to treat us to tea. Sima Yue said calmly. Why are you here? Ni stood beside Shurchen and stared at Sima Yue. He looked like he was going to beat her up if she didn't say anything. I'm here to talk business. Sima Yue wasn't intimidated by Ni's vicious aura as she smiled at Shurchen. What is it? You don't have much time left, do you? Sima Yue asked with a smile. How dare you? A clear rebuke came from behind them, and a figure holding a sword came along with it. Little Golden Snake, don't. Sima Yue pressed down on Little Golden Snake in her hand, and dodged to the left at the same time, easily dodging the attack. Hiss hiss. Little Golden Snake peeked out from Sima Yue's hand, its eyes filled with dissatisfaction. It clearly felt the murderous aura just now. Why did she press it down? It was unhappy. Sima Yue took out a pill for Little Golden Snake to eat, and patted its head to appease the dissatisfaction in its eyes. Who are you guys? How dare you come here to cause trouble? Do you really think that us 10 brothers are easy to bully? The man holding the sword missed his attack, and was blocked by Ni. Of course, Ni was also following Shurchen's instructions. 2. Third brother. The other men also walked in. When they saw Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang, their eyes were filled with anger and vigilance. Don't be rash. Shurchen raised his hand, stopping his brothers from getting angry. Third brother, who are these people? How dare they come here to cause trouble, saying that you don't have much time left? A man wearing a red robe glared at Sima Yue. We don't know who they are either. Shurchen said. Why don't you tell us, who are you guys? Why are you guys so nervous? You guys are so much stronger than us. Are you afraid that we'll hurt you? Sima Yue said. I have to say, you guys are really brave to come here. I have to say, you look really flashy when you're wearing a red robe. Sima Yue said calmly. All right, I'll tell you who we are. We're students from the Imperial Academy. Students? Ni looked at the two of them in surprise. Do you know who we are? We know you're one of the top 10 evildoers. Sima Yue said. Our academy even gave out a mission to kill you guys. And we've even accepted a mission. Puffed. A man wearing a blue robe laughed. How dare you come here after accepting a mission? Didn't I say that we're here to talk? Sima Yue said. So you're here to tell us that my third brother doesn't have much time left? The man in red robe shouted. I'm a doctor and also an alchemist. Sima Yue said. So you're here to treat my third brother? Yusi asked. That's right. Sima Yue nodded. But looking at his half-dead state, we don't know if he can be saved. Why should we believe you? The man in red did not believe her. You can only try. Sima Yue said. I think you guys don't have a choice now. Those doctors are either useless or unwilling to save him because of your reputation. Anyway, you won't be able to find anyone who can save him. That's why you're here. You know why we're here? Of course. Aren't you here for the rumored auspicious beast? Sima Yue said. Unfortunately, your last bet doesn't exist. What do you mean? It's literally what it means. Sima Yue said. You guys want to use the auspicious beast's blood to save him. That's why you guys don't care about the danger and gathered here. You have to know that there are many people who want to kill you. But does this auspicious beast really exist? Of course it exists. Someone once personally felt its aura. Ni said. The changes in the dark forest only appeared in the last 2 years. If there really is an auspicious beast, where did it come from? Will it always be here? Even if there really is an auspicious beast, you guys have seen how many people came from Qing City. How many powers are coveting it? Based on your 10 brothers' abilities, can you get it? Sima Yue said. Sickly guy, you're a smart person. Do you think this auspicious beast exists? Shurchen smiled bitterly. No. Seems like you're still a clear-headed person. Sima Yue looked at him approvingly. So, now that there's a doctor willing to take a look at you, Shouldn't you guys seize this opportunity? Since it's an opportunity, of course we'll want to seize it. Shurchen said. But if we have to pay an undesirable price for this opportunity, we'll have to reconsider this opportunity. That's right. If I want to talk to you about something, I'll have to examine you first to see if it's okay. If I can't do it, then there's no need for us to talk anymore. Sima Yue looked at Shurchen. Are you willing to let me examine you? I love my academy. Actively cooperate with this special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you. 4. 5. Tip: press the Enter key to return to the book list. Press key to return to the previous page. Press key to go to the next page. Read Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor. Please remember our address. Download Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor. Please go to 106636 5614313. The chapters of Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor were reprinted works. All the chapters were uploaded by netizens and reprinted on Zyred Chinese Network, just to promote the book and let more readers enjoy it. Chapter 691. The following is provided for you. 691. Please enjoy. Shurchen looked at Sima Yue, and the entire courtyard quietened down. Sima Yue didn't say anything and looked back at him. After a minute he nodded and said, Then I'll have to trouble you. Third brother. The red-clothed man shouted. Shurchen waved his hand and said, Seventh brother, it's fine. You. Dai saw that Shurchen didn't listen to him, and turned to look at his youngest brother, Kong Ren. Seventh brother, let her try. Kong Ren was anxious when he came in, but he didn't say anything. But his eyes were sharp, and saw that the pill that Sima Yue gave the little golden snake was a 7th-ranked pill. You guys. Sai. Do whatever you want. Dai kept his sword and his face was ugly. Let's go to the living room. Sixth brother, help me in. Shurchen ordered. Yes, third brother. Anayani came over to help Shurchen, and brought him to the living room. Sima Yue and Beigong Tang followed him in. Dai and the rest didn't leave and pulled Yusi down. Fourth brother, what's up with these people? How did they find this place? Hongwu asked. Fifth brother, although these two are young, their strength is not normal. Yusi said. He told them about the scarlet bees yesterday, and Sima Yue's sudden visit today. These two have such abilities. Dai didn't believe it. That little golden snake, did you see what species it was? The 8th-ranked Shui Qingyang asked. I didn't see it. It doesn't look like a very powerful species. Dai said. Wrong. That little golden snake. I felt an aura that didn't belong to spirit beasts. Shui Qingyang said. He was naturally sensitive to the aura of spirit beasts, and this helped them escape countless times in the past. An aura that doesn't belong to the current era? If it's not the current one, could it be the previous one? The man in the aqua-blue robe, Tao Hongsheng, who was the 9th in the family, joked. After he finished speaking, everyone kept quiet and guessed at this possibility. It can't be. Could it really be? Tao Hongsheng exclaimed. I don't know if it's true or not, but I know that the pill he gave the little golden snake was a 7th-grade pill. Kong Ren said. A 7th-grade medicinal pill? Although this 7th-grade medicinal pill is not particularly rare. To be able to feed a spirit pet with a 7th-grade medicinal pill in such a natural manner, it means that either this person can refine this medicinal pill, or the force behind this person is very powerful. If it's the second type, then it's fine. If it's the first type, then this person. Kong Ren did not finish his words, but they understood what he meant. They could see that although they didn't know her exact age, she looked really young. If she was really the one who refined it, then she was too monstrous. Let's go and see how she's treating third brother, Kong Ren said and left. Everyone followed him to the hall. In the living room, Anayani looked at Sima Yue nervously. Seeing that she had not said anything, he asked, How is it? Nothing much. Sima Yue retracted her hand and said calmly, What do you mean by not so good? Anayani yelled, Do you even know medical skills? Sixth brother. Shurchen scolded before he quieted down. At this moment, the brothers walked in from outside. How's my third brother's condition? Dai asked first. Sima Yue was not anxious. She looked at a piece of paper with an extremely nervous face and said, "Do you want me to tell the truth or lie?" "Of course it's the truth," Anayani said without thinking. Sima Yue looked at Kong Ren and said, "Are you an alchemist or a doctor? Alchemists all know a little about medicine. His condition, you should be the clearest, right?" "Yes." Kong Ren nodded. "Aya, hurry up and tell us." Dai saw that Sima Yue was still keeping them in suspense and urged her. "He won't live for more than half a year." Sima Yue said. "What did you say?" The brothers were shocked by her words. Two of them stared at her angrily. The murderous intent on their bodies condensed the air around them. Hiss hiss. The little golden snake flicked its tongue at them. The atmosphere was broken in an instant. "I said with his current condition, he can only live for half a year at most." Sima Yue said. "Impossible. He should be able to live for another year." Kong Ren shouted. "10th brother. Didn't you say that 3rd brother could live for another 2 years if he took good care of himself?" Dai looked at Kong Ren in disbelief. Kong Ren closed his eyes and said painfully, "But when we were chased last time, 3rd brother used his spiritual energy. It was very harmful to his body. So he didn't have 2 months left. Do you know what's wrong with my 3rd brother?" Hongwu asked. "Isn't it because he was exposed to the cold when he was young? In the end, he couldn't cultivate the ice attribute, so his body was almost completely corroded by the cold?" Sima Yue said. Hearing her say this, the brothers started to believe her words. Because Shichen's body was just like what she said. "Although I don't know where your cold aura came from, for you to be able to walk until now, you should have had a fortuitous encounter." Sima Yue said, "Unfortunately, it's useless now. It can't resist the cold aura in your body. And it's so strange. It can't be treated with normal strong herbs. That's why you want to use the blood of an auspicious beast to treat it. Because the blood of an auspicious beast is warm. It's very suitable for your situation." This time, the few of them believed her even more. Because what she said was true. Cough, 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 cough. Shichen coughed violently again. Kong Ren took out a pill and wanted to give it to him, but was stopped by Yue. "Your pill is useless to him," Sima Yue said. "How do you know?" Kong Ren stared at Sima Yue with an unfriendly expression. "You can ask him. If he eats this pill, he won't cough for a while, but his chest will be stuffy and painful later on." Sima Yue was not in a hurry. Kong Ren looked at Shichen. Shichen's eyes flashed with helplessness. He could no longer feed him the pill in his hand. Cough, 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 cough. Shichen coughed even more violently. It was as if he would only stop when he coughed out his heart and lungs. Sima Yue saw that he was coughing so violently. She took out a bottle of pills and poured out a pill for Kong Ren. Kong Ren took the pill and sniffed it. After confirming that there were no bad herbs, he fed it to Shichen. Once the pill entered his mouth, Shichen felt a cooling sensation slide down his throat. His chest that was hurting from coughing suddenly felt much better. He hadn't felt so comfortable in a long time. Shichen closed his eyes. He craved for this moment of comfort. The brothers saw that his complexion was much better, and their worried hearts were relieved. "3rd brother, how are you?" Anayani asked. "Much better." Shichen opened his eyes. There was no relief in his eyes after his illness was under control. He looked at Sima Yue cautiously and said, "Now can you tell me why you're here today?" "I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you everyone." Chapter 692. The following is provided for you. 692. Please enjoy. Sima Yue's smile did not diminish. She looked like she was asking for a beating. "You and I don't know each other. I can't guess what you're thinking." Shichen said. "How can you not guess? Aren't you saying that because you know what I'm thinking?" Sima Yue continued to smile. "I only know that you have a motive for coming here today, and you want to use my illness to achieve it." Shichen said confidently. "You're really smart. It's so easy to talk to someone like you." Sima Yue was still smiling. "This matter we have to wait." "Wait for what?" "Wait for your eldest brother and 2nd brother." "Wait for them for what?" "Of course it's for this matter. All 10 of you brothers have to be present." Sima Yue said. I think it's better for them to make the decision regarding your matters. Our matters? What matters? Will your eldest brother and second brother arrive today or tomorrow? Sima Yue asked. If there are no accidents, they'll arrive tonight. Yusi said. Then let's wait. Sima Yue was not in a hurry. She did not plan to continue the discussion before their eldest brother and second brother arrived. We'll visit you tomorrow. Bei Gong, let's go. You can't leave. Dai blocked the door, not letting Sima Yue leave. Don't worry, I'll definitely come tomorrow. Sima Yue patted Little Gold's head. Little Gold immediately stuck out its tongue at him. What a fierce gaze. Dai was stunned by Little Gold's gaze. He could not move for a moment. Sima Yue walked past Dai and walked out of the room. She suddenly stopped and turned around to throw the jade bottle in her hand to Shurchun. There are 2 pills inside. You won't cough in the day. Take one when you cough at night. It can last you until tomorrow morning. There's another one tomorrow morning. After she finished speaking, she brought Bei Gong Tang and left the courtyard. Third brother? What about them? Shui Qingyang looked at Sima Yue and the rest as he looked at Shurchun anxiously. Let them go. Shurchun looked at the jade bottle in his hand. The plum blossom print on it gave people a cold and unyielding spirit. Third brother, how are you feeling now? Kong Ren looked at him. His complexion did look better than before. The effects of this pill aren't bad. Other than my body being a little weak, I can't feel the chill anymore. Shurchun said. So this person really has a way to save third brother? Dai thought of the little golden snake's eyes and felt a little scared. The cold chi in third brother's body is very strange. Although it's cold chi, outsiders can't see that it's cold chi that has entered his body. Even I wouldn't have known if I hadn't known that third brother had fallen into that place. We've looked for quite a few people over the years, but none of them were able to tell. However, this person only took third brother's pulse and knew third brother's condition. Kong Ren said. So he really might be able to cure third brother. Yusi said. But he has a condition. Hongwu said. And we don't know what his condition is. No matter what it is, I won't let anything happen to you. Shurchun said. However, I originally wanted to clear your names before I left. But now it seems that I can't. Third brother, what nonsense are you saying? Anayani glared at him unhappily. Shurchun smiled and didn't say anything. He turned the jade bottle in his hand and looked pensive. At night, 2 men came to this small courtyard together. After knocking on the door a few times, Yusi opened the door. Big brother, second brother, you're here. Yusi looked outside and saw that there was no one before closing the door. The 2 handsome men took off their cloaks and asked, How's the situation these 2 days? How's third brother? Yusi was thinking about how to talk about today's matter. Before he could open his mouth, he heard second brother Feng Kai ask, What's wrong? Did something happen? Yes. Did something happen to third brother? Eldest brother Feng Ji asked. Something did happen today. The brothers are still in the living room. We'll talk when we get there. Yusi said. Then let's go quickly. Feng Kai said. The next day, at the same time as yesterday, there was a knock on the door. This time, it was Yusi who opened the door. The moment he opened it, he saw Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang standing outside. They were still playing with the little golden snake in their hands. Thinking about the shock that Dai gave him when he talked about the little golden snake last night, he couldn't help but take a few more glances at it. Have your big brother and second brother arrived? Sima Yue looked up and asked. They arrived last night. Come in. Yusi opened the door and let the 2 in. Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang calmly stepped into the courtyard. Seeing the 2 people standing outside the main hall, they exclaimed. I thought that the 10 great villains would all look like fierce bandits, especially eldest brother. He should have a valiant bandit aura with big shoulders and a round waist. Why did 2 handsome men suddenly appear? Big brother, have we been teased by a brat? Feng Kai laughed. You came here today to treat my third brother's illness? Feng Ji ignored Feng Kai and asked in a deep voice. Sima Yue looked at Feng Ji. This guy and Feng Kai were twins. The 2 of them looked exactly the same, but their personalities were quite different. Feng Kai was unruly while Feng Ji was calm and experienced. I'm here to discuss something with you, Sima Yue said. Then go in. Fengji didn't say much as he brought her into the main hall. Sima Yue went in. The 10 brothers were all gathered. We're all here now. Fengji sat at the highest position and said, Can you really cure my third brother? It's not difficult. Sima Yue said confidently. Condition? To be used by me. Sima Yue said her goal word by word. When she said this, everyone present quietened down. Then they burst into laughter. Little brat, are you crazy? Anayani slapped his thigh, as if he heard the funniest joke in the world. You're really indulging in fantasy. Hongwu laughed coldly. The others had different expressions, but none of them took Sima Yue's words seriously. I don't agree. Shi Chun was the first to speak. Anyway, it doesn't matter if I have this body or not. Why should I implicate everyone? Third brother. Shi Chun waved his hand. If I let you all be used by others because of me, even if I survive, I won't feel good. Third brother, don't be anxious. Let's listen to what she has to say. Why did she come here so confidently? Feng Kai said. Maybe we can hear something different. Yes, third brother, don't be anxious. Let her speak first. What does it mean to be used by her? Shui Qingyang comforted. Feng Ji faintly looked at Sima Yu. Say it. What are you relying on? And what do you mean by being used by you? I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the campaign to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 693. Sima Yue put down the teacup in her hand and said, If you work for me, then you will naturally listen to my orders and work for me. As for me, I will naturally cure your third brother, and let you all live under the sun from now on. What a joke. Aren't we living under the sun now? Anayani felt that this little fellow was simply crazy, daring to come here and talk nonsense. Little fellow, aren't you afraid that we villains will kill you for saying this? Yusi asked. Since I dared to come here and talk to you, I'm confident that I can get out of here. Sima Yue smiled confidently. What's wrong? Why are you all so hesitant? Could it be that my conditions are not good enough? What kind of condition is that? To us, other than treating my third brother's illness, there is no other use. Anayani said. So you're saying that you're still planning to live a life of being hunted? Or do you want to continue hiding in order to kill less people? Sima Yue asked. The atmosphere in the room suddenly changed a few times, and the way everyone looked at her changed. What? Did I say something wrong? Sima Yue lowered her head and stroked the little golden snake's head. Don't tell me you haven't been running around all day to avoid being hunted down? You've been hunted down for so many years. Although you've experienced many dangers, you've always lived well. What does this mean? This shows that you are capable. If he had the ability, why did he have to hide all these years? Wasn't it because he didn't want to bump into others? As for why, I don't think I need to explain it. The reason why they didn't want to fight others was because they didn't want to kill more people. They wanted to tell the world that they were not evil people. But no one would listen to them. When they saw them, they would still shout and kill. Left with no choice, they could only hide and hide. In the past, no one had ever believed in them. No one had ever sympathized with them. No one had ever understood them. They didn't expect that a child in their eyes would say such words today. Only then did Fengji really have the intention to talk to her. What do you think? Feng Kai asked. I want to build a force. When my force becomes strong in the future, no one will dare to say anything when you walk around the continent. Sima Yue said. You want to establish a force? Feng Kai opened his eyes wide and suddenly laughed. I didn't think that you were a kid before. Now that I think about it, you are really a kid. Only a kid like you can think of this idea. How is establishing a force something that only a child can think of? Could it be that all these forces had appeared out of thin air? Isn't it built up bit by bit? Sima Yue said. You want to establish a force? You're thinking too simply. Anayani also felt that this was child's nonsense. Isn't it just money and manpower? As long as we get rid of these things, wouldn't it be fine? Sima Yu said disapprovingly. Are you a disciple from a large clan? Yusi asked. No. Then do you know how much financial and material resources are needed to support a force? I know. You still dare to spout nonsense when you know. How is this nonsense? Sima Yue took another sip of her tea. Since I want to build my own force, I will naturally provide financial support. You have a lot of money? Hongwu asked. It's considered a lot. Sima Yue nodded. Originally, she didn't have much. The mine in the spirit pagoda couldn't be moved out, and she couldn't take it out bit by bit. But now that she had the Brave Moon Sex mine, there was no need to consider the financial resources needed to establish a force. Kid, how much is your lot? Do you have 1,000 cubes? 1,000 cubes? How can that be considered a lot? Sima Yue said. I have this much. She raised her index finger. 10 cubes. 1 cubes could provide 1 million crystals. 10 cubes would be 10 million. Sima Yue shook her head. Is it 100 cubes? 100 cubes, that was 100 million. It was indeed not a small amount, especially for someone who wasn't from a large clan. No. Sima Yue still denied. Don't tell me you have a mine? Annie exclaimed. Sima Yue shook her head, and his surprised expression recovered. He knew it. How could this kid have a mine? If you want to establish a force, a mine isn't enough. You want. It's not a mine, it's a mine. Sima Yue interrupted Annie. A mineral vein. What? An ore vein? Annie jumped up from his chair. That's right. Sima Yue ignored their surprise. How is it? Is this financial resources enough? How did you get a mine? Feng Kai looked at her. There wasn't any disbelief in his eyes, only deep surprise. I found it by accident. Sima Yue didn't plan to talk about this with them. This financial resources is enough to support a second-class force for 50 years, and a third-class force for 100 years. The biggest problem was solved, and the manpower problem wasn't a problem anymore. Then what about your manpower? And what's the purpose of establishing a force? Don't tell me you want to establish a force for no reason. Divine Devil Valley Junior Valley Master. Shurchen asked. Divine Devil Valley Junior Valley Master? Third brother, this is Ning Bai Chuan. I've dealt with that guy before, it's not him. Annie looked at Shurchen and said, didn't the Divine Devil Valley have 2 Junior Valley Masters in every generation? Shurchen looked at the blood ring on Sima Yue's hand. This should be the other Junior Valley Master. Oh, I remember now. There was a rumor in the continent that Old Man Devil took in a disciple in the lower continent and became the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley. The Divine Devil Valley was ridiculed then. Dai looked at Sima Yue as if he suddenly realized something. Sima Yue touched the blood ring on her hand. It was better to take it off when she walked on the road, or else it would bring trouble to the Divine Devil Valley. But the blood ring was firmly on her hand in the past, and she couldn't take it off at all. She tried a few times, but it still didn't work. Blood ring, don't cause trouble for me. Be obedient and take it off. She thought in her heart, and the blood ring that didn't move before really moved. She was happy, and she tried to take it off lightly, but she didn't keep it immediately, and put it back on, as if she was playing with the blood ring. However, her action attracted the attention of everyone in the room to her blood thumb ring. This should be the blood ring that only the Junior Valley Master has. Feng Kai guessed as he looked at her action. Since all of you can see through it, I won't deny it. Sima Yue admitted. But you said just now that you didn't come from any power or family. Feng Ji's gaze became unfriendly. Chapter 694. Mobile reading. Sima Yue replied calmly. Since all of you know about this, do you know that I have never been to the Divine Devil Valley since I came to the Primordial Lands? Really? Feng Ji didn't believe it. You can check it out. Sima Yue said. Even so, since you are the Junior Valley Master of the Divine Devil Valley, why do you still want to build your own forces? Sima Yue looked at Feng Ji. She knew that she couldn't fool him, and she didn't intend to. In the future, the people who came in would immediately know the purpose of his organization. Yue has a blood feud on her back. Naturally, she formed her force to take revenge. Sima Yue said. You are the Junior Valley Master. You have the Divine Devil Valley backing you up. Shurchen said. Personal grudge. Sima Yue only said 2 words and didn't say anything else. If they were truly worthy of her trust, they would naturally know about her matters. Although she wanted to recruit them, she wouldn't tell them everything about herself to people she wasn't familiar with. So, you're looking for an assassin, a death warrior? Fengji asked. Yes and no. Sima Yue smiled. What do you mean? If they're strong enough to deal with my enemies, they're naturally not death warriors. But if we can't deal with them in the end, then those who will follow me in the future can only die. Will you tell others about your purpose in the future? Of course. Everyone will tell them before they come in. Sima Yue said. How strong are the people you want to take revenge on? How long do you need to gather enough people? Sima Yue and the rest were chatting while everyone in the inn was waiting for them to return. Only Fatty Chu was pacing back and forth. Yulin, will you and Bei Gong be alright? Fatty Chu paced back and forth in the house, extremely worried. Why are you in such a hurry? Even if Yu is unable to successfully recruit them, your life will not be in danger. Sima Yulin said. Will nothing really happen? Fatty Chu was still worried. Of course nothing will happen. Sima Yuran said. Fifth bro is their third bro's only hope of survival. There's no way he would hurt her. That's true. When Fatty Chu heard his words, the worry in his heart dissipated. Only when he saw everyone looking at him with smiles on their faces did he react. Oh, you guys are all laughing at me, aren't you? It turns out that I've been the only one worrying all this time. You're the one who's stupid, you can't blame us. Sima Yue said with a smile. But Yu has been gone for a long time. Little Seven said unhappily. I'll go look for her. Little Seven, wait a little longer. If something happens to you, Fifth bro will be worried about you. Sima Yuran said. She's not bringing me along. Little Seven said unhappily. She's doing it for your own good. Sima Yuran comforted her. You don't know if those people are good or bad. If they know about your news, it might bring you danger. Whoever dares to have any thoughts about me, I'll send them flying with a punch. Little Seven shook her fist. The next time I go out, you must bring me along. Seeing Little Seven sticking to Sima Yue, the few of them smiled helplessly. In the small courtyard, Sima Yue had already said what she wanted to say clearly. Since I've already said this, I think you all already know what I think. I won't force you to state your position immediately. Sima Yue said. I know that you still have hope for the auspicious beast in your heart. I won't stop you from looking for them. If you can really get the auspicious beast, then congratulations. You can let him live for 8 to 10 years without paying any price. 8 to 10 years? You're saying that even if we get the auspicious beast, third bro can only live for 8 to 10 years? Feng Kai asked. Yes. Sima Yue nodded. Didn't you say that you can save third bro with the blood of the auspicious beast? The cold in his body is so heavy. How can drinking the blood of the auspicious beast solve it? If it's true, I'm afraid he'll have to drink a few hundred. Where are you going to find a few hundred auspicious beasts? Sima Yue flicked her sleeves. Everyone was silent. You can think about it during this period of time. After this is over, you can give me an answer. Sima Yue said. In order to show my sincerity, I specially refined a kind of pill for you when I went back yesterday. This pill can make you look like an ordinary person for 3 months, without any side effects. She took out the pill and threw the bottle to Kong Run. Kong Run poured out the pill. When he saw the snow-white pill, his eyes were filled with uncontrollable joy. Just this. I wanted to refine this pill for third bro before, but I didn't succeed. He said excitedly. Third bro, after eating this pill, you will be no different from an ordinary person for the next 3 months. This is the pill you mentioned last time? You didn't manage to refine it, but this brat actually managed to? Although Dai Yi said this, he could see that she was very happy. Alright, Bei Gong and I have been out for so long. Our companions must be very worried. We'll take our leave now. Sima Yue stood up as she spoke, and cupped her fists towards everyone. Bei Gong Tang followed along. Fourth bro, you and sixth bro can send them off. Feng Kai instructed. Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang left. Yu Si and the others quickly closed the door. It's still early now. Let's go shopping and walk back. Sima Yue suggested. You're still in the mood to shop? Bei Gong Tang looked at her little face and wanted to poke her. What do you think is the possibility of this succeeding? It's a success. Sima Yue said. Are you sure they'll agree? Bei Gongtang said. Do you think they're really evil people? Sima Yu asked. Bei Gongtang shook her head. Not only do I not think they're evil people, I think they're more sentimental people. And looking at their relationship, it's a little similar to ours. Actually, just based on the fact that they're not willing to kill the innocent and live in seclusion, we can see that they're not evil beyond redemption. Their current lives are just forced. Sima Yu said. They're strong, have courage, don't kill the innocent, and aren't afraid of death. That's the kind of person we want. If we have them, then it'll be much easier for us to build up our forces. You clearly know that they can't find the auspicious beast. Why are you still willing to give them so much time? I didn't say that there definitely isn't an auspicious beast. I just said that there probably isn't one. Sima Yu said mysteriously. If they're lucky enough to meet an auspicious beast, they'll understand that this method isn't the best one. In order to completely cure that sickly person of theirs, they'll have no other way. Chapter 695. Bei Gongtang looked at Sima Yu's mischievous smile, and felt that this guy was really naughty sometimes. It was a good thing that she never used it on her own people. New_thinking_Lu_Chinese_literature_web dedication of hands. However, she believed that even if Yue had bad intentions towards those people, as long as they became her people, she would treat them well. Come here. Sima Yue suddenly pulled Bei Gongtang into a small shop at the side. They hid behind the door frame and looked sideways at the few people walking on the street. This Nalanland's luck is really good. At that time, she schemed to harm you. Just as you were about to return, she was brought to the primordial lands. She also has that kind of physique. Her cultivation speed is actually not inferior to ours. Bei Gongtang said. Her physique is one of the reasons, but the Sage Pavilion's strength is another important factor. If you look at my senior brother, you will understand. If they want to nurture someone, they are willing to put in a lot of effort. Sima Yue looked outside and said faintly, she tricked you last time. Are you going to pay her back this time? Of course. Sima Yue said. I have a feeling that she is my rival in life. If I don't get rid of her now, there will be a lot of trouble in the future. She doesn't know that we're here. This time, she's in the open while we're in the dark. We have to trick her properly. That's right. Nalan Lan, who was talking to her maid, felt two pairs of eyes on her. This was different from the gazes of adoration and love. It was as if someone had seen into the depths of her soul. She frowned and looked back, but didn't see anyone. Saintess, what are you looking at? The maidservant saw her turn her head, and also turned her head to look. It's nothing. Let's go. Senior apprentice brother is still waiting for us to return. Nalan Lan turned around and continued to walk, but the doubts in her heart did not dissipate. Sima Yue and Bei Gongtang stuck to the wall. They only heaved a sigh of relief when she was far away. Her divine sense has also improved a lot, Bei Gongtang said. Sima Yue nodded her head. It seemed like Nalan Lan had improved a lot over the years. The two of you, are you here to buy something or not? The waiter walked over and looked at the two of them with a long face. They came in for a while, but they didn't even look at anything. They just peeked at the people outside from the door. They were definitely not good people. Sima Yue looked around and found that it was actually a small shop that sold spirit cloth. She didn't notice it when she passed by a few days ago, but today she accidentally barged in. Since I'm here, of course I want to see what you have here. Sima Yue did not feel awkward about being caught peeking. Instead, she looked at the spirit cloth seriously. The so-called spirit cloth was a cloth woven from the silk of spirit silkworms. Clothes made from this kind of spirit cloth had a natural defensive ability, but its defensive ability was not as strong as a defensive spirit tool. There were no spirit silkworms in the lower continents, and after he recovered his memories, he didn't particularly think about it. Now that he saw this shop that sold spirit cloth, he suddenly remembered. Let's go, Beigong. Let's see how effective the spirit cloth is. She grabbed Beigong's hand and walked over. Bei Gongtang had seen Gu Yun Air, and the others wear clothes made from spirit cloth before, so she knew what it was. However, She didn't think that Qing City would actually sell spirit cloth, because Guyan Air wore clothes made from spirit cloth, and went to their broken courtyard to show it off, so spirit cloth was not that common. I didn't think that there would be so many spirit cloth here. In a while, let's buy some for everyone. How about it? Beigong Tang saw all kinds of patterns and liked it very much. Okay. Sima Yue agreed readily. Good things naturally had to be shared with everyone. She picked up a piece of spirit cloth and wanted to see the patterns on it. When she saw the familiar stitches, she was stunned. In a daze, she saw a gentle and refined lady holding a needle and thread under the sunlight. A lady rushed into the courtyard. When she saw the lady embroidering, she subconsciously slowed down her footsteps. Yue, where did you go? The lady didn't slow down, and didn't even raise her head as she asked. Shimin Yue walked behind her and circled around her neck. Hugging her, she smiled and said, "Third aunt, your embroidery is really amazing. I asked you to learn from me, but you didn't want to." The lady put down the needle and thread and patted Shimin Yue's hand, trying to persuade her again. "Third aunt, please spare me." Shimin Yue rubbed against the lady's body. "You know I don't have this talent." "You don't have talent, you're just lazy. You're only interested in your food and medicine." "I really don't have talent." Shimin Yue let go of third aunt and squatted in front of her, saying, "Third aunt, you've seen my embroidery. Your embroidery stitches make both sides look like the front. But when I embroider, both sides are the back." As if thinking about Shimin Yue's failed product, the lady couldn't help but laugh. "Third aunt, your embroidery technique looks really good. Those flowers and plants are all alive because of your embroidery." Shimin Yue looked at the flowers she embroidered and liked them very much. "This embroidery technique is unique to my Du family. Our method is different from others. Look here, other people use the stitches like this, but our Du family's embroidery technique is like this." Beigong Tang looked at a few bolts and wanted to discuss the embroidery with Sima Yue. When she raised her head, she saw her staring at the cloth in a daze. "Yue, what's wrong?" She lightly touched Sima Yue's hand and pulled her back to her memories. Sima Yue blinked her slightly moist eyes and forced a smile, asking, "What's wrong? What happened to you just now? Your face looked really bad." Beigong Tang said worriedly, "It's nothing. I just thought about the past." Sima Yue said, "Did you call me for something?" Beigong Tang knew that when she thought about the past, she would be like this. She showed her the cloth in her hand and said, "Look at this, what do you think?" "Not bad." Sima Yue looked at the cloth in her hand and said, "This suits you very well." Beigong Tang wanted to say that this was chosen for her, but thinking that she was still a man, she went along with her words. "This cloth is more simple and elegant. It can be made into different styles for different people to wear. We can buy some back and make a set for mother and aunt you. Everyone can wear the parent-child outfit you mentioned." "Okay." Sima Yue smiled, but she was still not very interested. Beigong Tang went to choose another cloth. Sima Yue walked around the shop and saw the waiter standing at the side looking at them indifferently. She went up and asked, "Your cloth here is really good. The embroidery is also very unique. Can I see your embroiderer?" The waiter glanced at her and said, "No, our boss is not seeing any guests. If you want to buy, then buy. If you don't want to buy, then don't stand here." "Wooer, didn't I tell you not to treat guests like this?" A gentle voice came from the inner room. When Sima Yue heard this voice, her eyes moistened. Chapter 696. Crazy Wife. Divine Dr. Fifth missed the door curtain was pushed open by a slender hand, and a beautiful figure came out from inside. When she saw Sima Yue, she raised a professional smile and said, "I am the embroiderer here. This young master has taken a fancy to our spirit cloth." Sima Yue looked at the unfamiliar face and saw that familiar pair of eyes staring at her blankly. "You lecherous wastrel, why are you looking at my master with such a perverted gaze?" Xiao Wu rushed in front of Sima Yue, blocking her line of sight. Beigong Tang couldn't help but twitch her mouth. "Little girl, which eye of yours saw Yue looking perverted? She was just excited, okay? Wu-er, don't be rude. She is a guest." The lady was confused by Sima Yue's gaze, but she still pulled her disciple away. This gentleman, are you feeling unwell? Third aunt. Sima Yue called out faintly, and the tears that she had been holding back for a long time suddenly fell. Who are you? Third Aunt Du's body swayed, and Xiao Wu quickly went up to support her. Master. Xiao Wu looked at Third Aunt Du worriedly. Third Aunt Du looked at Sima Yue, who was crying nonstop. That gaze was so familiar that she felt that she must be hallucinating. Third Aunt, it's me. I'm back. Sima Yue suppressed herself, but she was trembling all over. Yue, you're Yue. Third Aunt Du said doubtfully. Sima Yue nodded while crying. It's me, Third Aunt. I'm Yue. I'm back. Third Aunt went forward and grabbed Sima Yue's hand, and touched Sima Yue's eyes with her other hand. Tears also fell. Although your eyes have changed, your gaze hasn't. It's really you, child. Sima Yue threw herself into Du Sanyang's arms, unable to control herself. Third Aunt Du hugged Sima Yue, still in disbelief. Yue, are you really Yue? Sanyang. Master. Seeing this, Xiao Wu didn't know whether she should go and drag this lecherous wastrel out. Wu close the door. We're closed for the day. Du Sanyang regained her senses after being called by her disciple and hurriedly ordered. Yes, master. Xiao Wu went to close the door. Fortunately, there were no customers in the shop at the moment. Yue, let's talk inside. Third Aunt Du patted Sima Yue's shoulder. Okay. Sima Yue let go of Third Aunt Du and wiped the tears off her face. They went to the backyard and came to the courtyard where the master and disciple usually lived. They left Xiao Wu at the front and didn't let her in. Third Aunt, are you wearing a human skin mask? Sima Yue looked at Third Aunt Du and asked. Third Aunt Du nodded and tore off the mask on her face. She returned to the beautiful appearance in Yue's memory. How did you become like this? Didn't you say that you were dead? Third Aunt Du looked at Sima Yue. Before Sima Yue could speak, Little Roar from the Spirit Pagoda wanted to come out. She had no choice but to call him out first. Beautiful Third Aunt Wu, Little Roar missed you so much. Little Roar pounced on Third Aunt Du as soon as he came out. He laid on her chest and shamelessly rubbed against it. Third Aunt Du saw Little Roar, and the suspicion in her heart disappeared. She reached out and hugged Little Roar, saying, You little guy, you're still like this. Little Roar's lecherous nature hasn't changed. Sima Yue laughed, the sadness from before dissipating a little. Child, where have you been all these years? I heard that you were already dead. How did you survive? Feng Third Aunt Du thought of the dead Shiman Feng, and her eyes reddened. Third Aunt, don't worry. Feng is also alive. Sima Yue quickly said. Feng is still alive. But the people from the Zhongzheng clan said that they killed both you and your brother. Third Aunt Du said. Feng is really still alive. I've already met him. Sima Yue said. As for me, I really died at that time. But I don't know why. But I didn't go to the ghost realm. Instead, I was reborn in another person's body. Reborn? Third Aunt Du looked at Sima Yue in astonishment. The bone age of this body was indeed very young. It's good that you can survive. It's just that this body is a man. Sima Yue smiled and turned the illusion ring, returning to her female body. Third Aunt, what you saw was just an illusion from the illusion ring. I'm still a woman. Third Aunt Du covered her mouth in astonishment. She didn't expect her disguise to be so thorough. That's good, she said with a smile. Third Aunt, why are you here? How did you escape back then? Sima Yue pulled Third Aunt Du's hand and asked as they sat down at the side. When the clan was in trouble, I wasn't at home at all. Third Aunt Du said. The day before the incident, because there was a problem with the shop selling spirit cloth, I rushed over that day. Because of that, I managed to escape. When I got the news and rushed back, it was already too late. I searched the house for a while and didn't find anyone alive. But I heard some rumors that the Zhongzheng clan and Yin Yang Palace had joined hands to destroy the clan. Then I escaped. I don't like to go out. I often cultivate and embroider at home. Not many people in the outside world know me, so I escaped. Then how did you get here? Sima Yue asked. The Du clan had long ceased to exist. It wasn't easy for her to escape from the central region to the outer region alone. It was also a coincidence After some experience, I escaped to the outer region. Third Aunt Du obviously didn't intend to explain to Sima Yue in detail. Then I came to Qing City and accidentally found spirit silkworms in the dark forest. I made a living weaving and embroidering here. Then did you meet those people later? I did meet people from Yinyang Palace once. They went to the dark forest. But they didn't recognize me. Instead, I used my familiarity with the dark forest to lead them to the territory of the spirit beasts and killed them all. When Third Aunt Du said this, her eyes were filled with hatred. She was an orphan. She was the only one left in the Du clan. Later, she married Sima Yu's third uncle. It wasn't easy for her to have a family, but it was destroyed by those people. How could she not hate them in her heart? Sima Yue held Third Aunt's hand and said, "Third Aunt, don't worry. I won't let any of those people go." Third Aunt Du grabbed her hand and said, "Child, what are you planning to do? Don't mess around." "Beautiful Third Aunt, don't worry. You won't mess around." Little Roar patted Third Aunt Du with his little paw and comforted her. Sima Yue saw that Little Roar was touching her in the name of comforting her again. 3 black lines flashed across the back of her head. She couldn't hold it in anymore and grabbed Little Roar, then threw him behind. Little Roar was thrown out. The moment he was about to hit the wall, he twisted his butt and regained his balance. And are all automatically searched and collected from relevant websites on the internet. They are only for testing, learning, exchange, and indexing services. Chapter 697. Third Aunt Du couldn't help but laugh when she saw this familiar action. In the past, Little Roar would often be thrown out by Sima Yue when he ran into her arms. She did not expect to see him again. "All right, that's Little Roar's personality. Why are you being so calculative with him?" She laughed. "Sanyang, you used to be very tolerant of it. You've spoiled it." Sima Yue said helplessly. "Aren't you doting on it all the same?" Sanyang said. She looked at Bei Gong Tang, who was sitting in the lower seat, and asked, "Yue, who is this?" "Look at me. I was so happy that I forgot to introduce them to you." Sima Yue said, "Third Aunt, this is my good friend Bei Gong Tang. We grew up together, and she knows everything about me. Bei Gong, this is my third aunt, my third uncle's wife." Bei Gong Tang stepped forward and bowed to Third Aunt Du, calling out, "Third Aunt. Good girl. Thank you for taking care of Yue all these years." Third Aunt Du nodded at her. "Yue is taking care of us," Bei Gong Tang said. You've just met your third aunt. I'm sure you have a lot to say. But if we don't go back, they'll be worried. Why don't you stay here? I'll go back and tell them." Sima Yue originally wanted to say that they could use the Sun Mother Stone to speed them up. However, she thought that she would have a lot to talk about with Sanyang, and that she had nothing to do here. So she agreed. "Third Aunt, Bei Gong will take her leave first." Bei Gong Tang bowed to Third Aunt Du. "I'll let Wu send you out." Third Aunt Du said, then shouted outside, "Wu er." When Xiao Wu came in, she was no longer dressed as a man. "Master, Wu er, send Bei Gong Lei out." Third Aunt Du instructed. "Yes, Master." Xiao Wu looked at Sima Yue worriedly. Why was this fellow here with Master for so long? "Let's send Miss Bei Gong out first, then come and meet Master's niece." Third Aunt Du explained Sima Yue's identity to her. "Yes, Master." It was only then that Xiao Wu regained her smile and brought Bei Gong Tang out. After the two left, Sima Yue looked at Third Aunt Du and said with a smile, "Third Aunt has finally found a good disciple." Yes, Wuer's talent is very good. Although I haven't started to teach her the Du family's needle technique, I have already taught her some other embroidery techniques. She learned them very quickly. When Third Aunt Du talked about her disciple, she was very satisfied. Then she looked at Sima Yue. When I asked you to learn embroidery, it was as if I was asking you to eat arsenic." "Third Madam, don't you know my talent? Did you forget that both sides of the embroidery were opposite?" Sima Yue wasn't afraid of exposing her shortcomings. Thinking of her holding the embroidery needle, Du Sanyang couldn't help but laugh. Holding an embroidery needle is like fighting a war. This is harder than fighting." Sima Yue giggled. Third Aunt Du reached out and poked her forehead. Tell me how you've been all these years. How did you get reborn? How did you come here? And Fong? Or how is he? Third Aunt, don't worry. Let's make tea and talk slowly. Bei Gong Tang returned to the inn. Little Seven saw that Sima Yue did not come, and her happy face fell. Where's Yu? Not back yet. Not back yet? She's still there? I'll go find her. Little Seven jumped down and ran out. Don't worry, she's not there. Bei Gong Tang pulled her. Not there? Then where is she? Fatty Chu asked. Sit down and listen to me. Bei Gong Tang let go of Little Seven and told them about how they accidentally entered the spirit cloth shop, and how Sima Yue and Third Aunt Du recognized each other. After listening to Bei Gong Tang, everyone sighed. Fatty Chu slapped the table and sighed. Yue is really something. She can meet her family like this? At first, I thought her family was all dead. I didn't expect that she still had a brother and an aunt. You said her whole family is dead. Little Seven looked at Fatty Chu doubtfully. Fatty Chu covered his mouth and shook his head at Little Seven. Are you going to say it or not? If not, I'll beat you up. Little Seven glared at him. I won't say it. Even if you beat me up, I won't say it. If you want to know, go ask Yue yourself. Fatty Chu hid far away. Are you going to say it or not? Are you going to say it or not? Little Seven chased after him and punched him one by one. He cried out in pain. I won't say it. Even if you beat me to death, I won't say it. Fatty Chu cried out. Bei Gong Tang and the others laughed and shook their heads. This Fatty Chu spoke without thinking. When Bei Gong Tang said it, she did not directly mention Sima Yue's loss, but Fatty Chu still said it. Didn't this make Little Seven curious? It was a good thing that although Little Seven's punches were heavy, they landed on Fatty Chu's body. Although he cried out in pain, he did not suffer any serious injuries. On the evening of the second day, when Sima Yue came back, Fatty Chu was still lying on the bed and could not get out. When he heard her talking to someone else, he cried out in the room again. What happened to Fatty Chu? Sima Yue looked into the room. Everyone was holding back their laughter. Little Seven raised her chin and looked proud. When you didn't come back yesterday, Fatty Chu said something wrong and was beaten up by Little Seven. Bei Gong Tang said. Little Seven? Sima Yue patted Little Seven's head and asked. Why did you beat Fatty Chu? You won't tell me about you. Little Seven huffed and then grabbed Sima Yue's hand. Tell me. About me? Sima Yue looked at everyone suspiciously. Yesterday, Fatty Chu accidentally said that your family members were all killed. After that, she wanted to know about you. Fatty Chu didn't say anything and was beaten up by her. Bei Gong Tang explained. You beat him up because of this? Sima Yue lowered her head and pinched Little Seven's nose. He deserved it. Little Seven saw the disapproval in Sima Yue's eyes and turned her face away. He is our partner. Sima Yue instructed. If it was you, would you want me to ignore you or beat you up? Little Seven pouted and did not say anything. I'll go take a look at Fatty Chu, and then come back to tell you about me, okay? Sima Yue comforted her. Humph. Do you want to go with me? No, I'm not going. Little Seven huffed again and turned to go into her house. Sima Yue smiled and greeted everyone before turning to go into her house. Io. Alright, stop shouting. Aren't I here now? You're still shouting. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at the person on the bed. Yue, quickly come and take a look at me. I'm going to be beaten to death by you. Fatty Chu wailed. You're wailing so loudly. You're still far from death. Sima Yue walked over and pulled his hand to check his pulse. She knew the condition of his body and subconsciously raised her eyebrows. Chapter 698. Fatty Chu still wanted to wail, but Sima Yue slapped him on the head. Stop wailing, you didn't die from the pain. But it really hurts. Fatty Chu was lying down, and even the slightest movement caused his entire body to hurt. Do you only feel pain? Sima Yue rolled her eyes at him. There seems to be a warm aura flowing through my body, Fatty Chu said after some thought. That's it. Sima Yue stood up. Although Little Seven beat you up, she also opened up all your meridians and acupoints. You're a body cultivator. Opening up all your meridians will help you grow stronger in the future. Really? Fatty Chu couldn't believe it. Didn't you feel a warm current in your body? Little Seven isn't someone who doesn't know her limits. I was wondering why she beat you up until you couldn't get out of bed. So it's because you can tell that your body isn't good. Sima Yue said, "Alright, just lie down for 2 days. Don't take any more pills. You'll be fine after the pain passes." Fatty Chu looked at Sima Yue resentfully. She must have done it on purpose. She was punishing him for spilling the beans. Little Seven was wrong just now. I have to go and comfort her. Have a good rest. She patted him on the shoulder and turned to leave. Fatty Chu grimaced in pain and muttered, "This guy is really ruthless. Ouch, it hurts." Sima Yue came to Little Seven's room. Little Seven was lying on the bed. When she saw Sima Yue enter, she turned her face away. Sima Yue smiled and walked over to sit by the bed. "I was wrong just now. Don't be angry." "Humph," Little Seven snorted. "No one really blames you." Sima Yue touched her head and played with her hair. She added, "I don't blame you. You did just now." Seven raised her head and complained, "I also apologized just now." Sima Yue pinched her nose. "Next time, if you want to treat everyone well, you can tell them directly. I didn't treat them well." Little Seven refused to admit it. "Alright, you're not good to them. You're good to me." Sima Yue did not expose her. "It's good that you know." Seven wasn't angry anymore, but she was still unhappy. "Are you still angry? I wanted to tell you about me, but since you're so angry, forget it. I'm going out." Sima Yue pretended to stand up. Little Seven immediately jumped up from the bed and climbed onto her body, saying, "Hurry up and tell me." Sima Yue felt that Little Seven was much more mischievous than when she first met her. She was clinging onto her like an octopus. She wouldn't have done that when they first met. "I'll tell you if you come down." Sima Yue grabbed her hand to prevent her from falling. Little Seven shrunk back onto the bed and looked at Sima Yue. She was no longer angry. Sima Yue sat back down and reached out to hug her, saying faintly, "Actually, when I agreed to let you form an organization with us, I didn't plan to hide my matter from you. It's just that I didn't think about it these 2 days, and nothing happened that made me want to tell you." "Was your family really killed?" Little Seven asked. "Yes. Not only did my family die, but I also died." Sima Yue said. "You died too? Then how did you come back to life?" "My body now is not the same body as before. At that time, I was chased by a group of people." Sima Yue talked about the past again. She didn't feel as painful as the first time she thought about it. Although she blamed herself, she didn't break down. Little Seven held her breath as she heard the last part. She could feel Sima Yue's pain and hatred. She reached out and grabbed her hand. "That's what happened to me. Now you know why they can't tell anyone about me, right?" "Yes, I won't tell anyone either." Little Seven said seriously. "Those people who killed you and your family deserve to die. When you form an organization, you must kill them all." "Yes, I'll definitely make them pay with their blood." Sima Yue never hesitated about this. She wouldn't let go of anyone who was involved in this matter. "Then what's up with that third madam you met yesterday?" "That's my third uncle's wife in my previous life. Because she didn't have any children, she treated me and Feng very well, treating us as if we were her own." Sima Yue said, "I thought she was killed too, but I only found out yesterday that she's still alive." "That's great, you still have family." Little Seven let go of her and supported her chin with both hands. "What about you, Little Seven? Where's your family?" Sima Yue suddenly remembered that she had never asked Little Seven about this. "I don't have a family," Little Seven said. "No family? Don't tell me they also." Sima Yue guessed. "I grew up in this world. I don't have a family, I'm all alone. Someone saved me and brought me to the academy. Since then, I've been living in the academy." Little Seven shrugged. She wasn't sad at all. "How long have you been in the academy?" Sima Yue asked. "How long?" Little Seven tilted her head and thought. "I don't remember how long, but I've met 5 to 6 principals." 5 to 6 principals? How many years is that? If a principal is in power for 200 years, then these 5 to 6 principals should be more than 1,000 years? She looked at Little Seven with a strange gaze. What exactly was this little fellow? She was still a little girl after living for so long. What's with that look? Little Seven saw the strangeness in her eyes and reached out to poke her face. Sima Yue held her hand and smiled. I'm thinking that you're so young, but you've lived for so many years. I'm curious why you haven't grown up yet. You're not allowed to laugh. Little Seven glared at her angrily. How can I be considered a child at this age? I'm not an old monster. Cough cough, okay, I won't laugh. Sima Yue saw her glare and kept her smile. She looked at her seriously, but she couldn't stop the smile in her eyes. I'm hungry. How could Little Seven not see that she was smiling? But she was too lazy to argue with her. What do you want to eat? I'll make it for you. Grilled chicken wings. That's not filling, change it. Then let's have a chicken feast. Okay. Do you want to come with me? Okay. Sima Yue brought Little Seven to the kitchen. Seeing how Little Seven followed her every step, Sima Yue and the rest didn't understand why she was so clingy to Yue. They stayed in the inn for 2 more days. The Scarlet Bees sent news that the 10 brothers were preparing to enter the dark forest. Not only the 10 brothers, but also those who came to Green City. Most of them entered the forest in these 2 days. The city was much quieter. Chapter 699. Yu, they've already entered the forest. Aren't we going in? Fatty Chu asked as he bit into a chicken drumstick. It had been a few days since he was beaten up, and most of the people in the inn had left. Only a group of people were still cooking in the backyard of the inn. Those who are in a hurry to go in are after the auspicious beast. We don't want that thing. So why are we in such a hurry to go in? Sima Yue said without turning her head. We can go in and watch the show. Fatty Chu said. Furthermore, we still have to trick the people from the Sage Pavilion. What if they all leave when we're late? Don't worry. Those people will take at least half a month to reach the central area, Sima Yue said. And those who go to the front will have to open a path for the people behind. That's true. If we walk in front and meet those spirit beasts, they'll have to clean them up. Fatty Chu thought it through and was no longer anxious. At this moment, the waiter came in and said to Sima Yue and the rest, Dear guests, someone is looking for you. Sima Yue put down the bone in her hand, wiped the oil stains on it with a piece of paper and said, It's Feng Er and the others. You guys continue eating. I'll take him to see San Yang. Sima Yulin was initially curious as to why someone would come looking for them. Now that he heard what she said, his curiosity dissipated, and he sat back down to continue eating. Sima Yue came to the front of the hall. Shimin Feng, Kong Sengyi, Little Peng, and the others were all sitting in front of the table. Sensing that she had come out, everyone looked over. Yeah, Yue. I've been waiting for you guys for a few days. You're finally here. Sima Yue said. Fenger, come with me to see San Yang. Sima Yue said to Sima Yue. All right. They first went to the small alley at the side. Sima Yue kept Little Peng and the rest back into the spirit pagoda before going to do Sanyang's spirit cloth shop with Shimin Feng and Kong Sengyi. Because many people had entered the dark forest, there were no customers in the shop. Third Aunt Du was talking to Xiao Wu about embroidery when she heard the sound. She looked up and saw the 3 people coming in. Third Aunt, look who's here. Sima Yue smiled and said to Third Aunt Du, seeing Shimin Feng's familiar face. Third Aunt Du excitedly got up and ran over. Seeing the equally excited Shimin Feng, her eyes became moist again. Fenger, it's really you. Third Aunt Du reached out and touched Shimin Feng's face. She often touched him like this when he was young. Third Madam, it's me. I'm still alive. Shimin Feng was also very excited, but because he already knew about Third Aunt Du in advance, he didn't cry. Sanyang, Fenger has just arrived. You should give him a cup of water first. You two catch up, Xiangyi and I will also chat. Sima Yue said now. Look at me. I forget everything when I'm excited. Let's go inside and talk. Third Aunt Du took out a handkerchief and wiped the tears on her face. They entered the backyard. Third Aunt Du pulled Shimin Feng to catch up, while Sima Yue and Kong Sengyi chatted in the yard. How was your situation this time? Not bad. Kong Sengyi thought of the results this time. and couldn't help but laugh. We made preparations in advance and ambushed all those people. The young sect master of Lanfang sect was also killed. Humph. Now this Lanfang sect will be distressed for a while. You killed their young sect master, how did they react? Sima Yue asked. Of course they did. Kong Sengyi snorted coldly. But they didn't dare to make it public. Once they make it public, the matter of ambushing us will be exposed. And they won't be able to hide the fact that we found the mineral vein. They joined forces with Wanxia sect for our mineral vein. If this news gets out, they won't have a chance. Naturally, they can only swallow this result. Aren't you afraid that they will spread the news and bring you more trouble? Sima Yue asked. They don't have the guts. Kong Sengyi said confidently. Although they know that we found a new mineral vein, they don't know the exact location. Before they know the exact location, they won't do it. It's a pity that the young sect master died so sullenly. Sima Yue shook her head and sighed. That scoundrel, it's good that he died. Kong Sengyi hated the people who took part in it, and didn't sympathize with them at all. Yue, I heard that a baby auspicious beast appeared in the dark forest. Is this true? I don't know. Didn't you go to take revenge? How did you know this news? Sima Yue asked. I heard it on the way here. When the person in charge of the transportation array heard that we were coming to Qing City, he sighed and said that no matter what, we all came for the auspicious beast. It's best if we don't lose our lives. Kong Sengyi said. That's why I'm thinking if there's an auspicious beast in the dark forest. I don't know if there's an auspicious beast, but there have been some changes in the dark forest in the past 2 years. Sima Yue said. What changes? Sima Yue took out the 2 maps that she got from Xianyuan Pavilion and placed them on the stone table. She pointed at some areas and said, the spirit beasts in these areas have changed greatly. Look at these places. The spirit beasts in the past weren't very strong, and were places that mercenaries and other people could enter. But now that some spirit beasts have moved in, this place has become dangerous. And these places, Sima Yue compared the 2 maps. Kong Sengyi then realized that the changes were really huge. The area in the middle has become empty? Is the rumored auspicious beast here? She pointed to the center and asked. That's right. Sima Yue said. She didn't expect Kong Sengyi to realize that something was wrong at once. The people who felt the aura of the auspicious beast said that the auspicious beast was in the center of the forest. That's why the people who came recently all entered the forest. Look at you. You don't believe in the auspicious beast, right? Kong Sengyi said with certainty. I don't believe it. Sima Yue said. The auspicious beast appeared too suddenly. This itself is not normal. Then what about the changes in the habitat of the spirit beasts in the dark forest? What do you think? Although there's no auspicious beast in the center of the forest, I think there should be some amazing guy that can make the spirit beasts tremble. Sima Yue said lightly. Since the guy who appeared didn't even dare to go near the spirit beasts that live here and asked everyone to follow his orders, I think this guy is not an easy bone to chew. According to what you said, a lot of people went in, and the other party is not easy to deal with. Then this time, I'm afraid that the people who went in will not be able to leave so easily. Kong Sengyi guessed. I don't care about the others. As long as the people I have my eyes on are fine. The people you have your eyes on? Who? A few people you don't expect. Chapter 700. Kong Sengyi did not continue to ask who those people were. After knowing Yue for so long, she had some understanding of her. As long as she did not want to talk about it, there was no point in asking. The two bypassed the topic and continued to talk about the dark forest. The more Kong Sengyi listened, the more he wanted to go in and take a look. Yue, when do you plan to go in? In the next 2 days. Sima Yue said. We were waiting for you guys to come. We were waiting for Feng, and Sanyang to finish talking. As she spoke, she glanced at Kong Sengyi and asked, You'd better not come with us this time. Why? Kong Sengyi was shocked. Did you not like him anymore? What we're about to do is very dangerous, and we can't make it public. I don't think Feng, would want to lie to you, so the best way is for you not to know. Sima Yue said. I won't tell anyone, Kong Sengyi said. No matter what Shimin Feng wants to do, I will be with him. He can't leave me behind. But your father is the Valley Lord of the Kong Valley, Sima Yue said. Although what we do will not affect the interests of the Kong Valley. What if your father finds out about you? Don't tell me you won't tell me. Kong Sengyi understood what Sima Yue meant. She placed her right hand over her heart and said, I, Kong Sengyi, swear that without your consent, I will not tell anyone what you have done. If I go back on my word, I will go to hell. As soon as she finished her vow, a silver light flashed and disappeared into her chest. Sima Yue was a little moved. Her original intention was to let Kong Sengyi promise her. After all, Kong Sengyi was going to be her future sister-in-law. She did not want to push her too hard. But this girl. Are you relieved now? Kong Sengyi didn't feel nervous after swearing, because she really didn't intend to tell anyone about Shimin Feng's matter. Since that was the case, what was the difference between swearing or not swearing? If Fenger knew about this, he would probably scold me. Sima Yue sighed. How dare he? You are his elder sister. Kong Sengyi knew Sima Yue's position in Shimin Feng's heart, so he would never blame her. Now, can you tell me what you're planning? Sure. Sima Yue told him about the discussion she had with Shimin Feng about forming a force. She also said that she had dug out the entire mineral vein of the Brave Moon sect and used it as the starting capital for forming a force. She also mentioned that she was going to recruit the 10 great villains. The more Kong Sengyi listened, the more surprised he became. His eyes widened, and in the end he burst out laughing. We heard about the matter of the Brave Moon sect a long time ago. At that time, we were still wondering why they were so blind. We didn't know which big force they had captured, but we didn't expect that those people were you. Kong Sengyi couldn't stop laughing. You don't know how many forces participated in this matter at that time. As long as they were related to those who were enslaved, they all went to look for the mineral vein. But when they saw the huge pit, they were all dumbfounded. In the end, the mineral vein was actually moved away by you. Anyway, if I didn't take the mineral vein, others would. Sima Yue shrugged. By the way, are the 10 great villains reliable? Their reputation is not good, even worse than mine, Kong Sengyi said. PFFF. Sima Yue couldn't help but laugh. She remembered that Kong Sengyi's reputation in the mainland was indeed bad. But after interacting with him, she liked his character. This rumor can't be trusted, right? That's true. You're just someone who doesn't believe in rumors, Kong Sengyi said with a smile. Otherwise you wouldn't like me. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. This guy was so narcissistic. But Kong Sengyi didn't think so. He held his chin with both hands. The Kong Valley has been passed down for thousands of years. When I was born, it was already so strong. I have never established my own force. This experience will definitely be fun. But it will also be dangerous, Sima Yue said. What's there to be afraid of? Kong Sengyi didn't care. As long as I'm with Shimin Feng, I'm not afraid of any danger. Sima Yue shook her head, saying, You can't participate in this matter. I'm just letting you know. Why? I already said that I won't tell anyone. Kong Sengyi was a little unhappy. He had already sworn. Why didn't she believe him? It's not that I don't believe you, Sima Yue said. It's just that you're a member of the Kong Valley, and there are many people in the continent who know you. If you openly participate in this matter, wouldn't you be telling the world that this matter was done by the Kong Valley? Not only can you not openly participate, even Fenger can't. You don't want to cause trouble for the Kong Valley, right? Kong Sengyi heard her say this, and became a lot more listless. It's not easy to come across something that interests me. Why can't I participate? Why aren't you participating? Sima Yue laughed at her. I'm only saying that you can't do it openly, but you can still plot in the dark and watch it grow with your own eyes. Moreover, when the time comes to announce it to the world, I intend to let Fenger be the pavilion master. After the two of you get married, you'll be the pavilion master's wife. How can you say that you're not participating? Hearing Sima Yue say this, Kong Sengyi blushed and glared at her shyly. We're all women. What's there to be shy about saying this? Sima Yue didn't tease her this time. During Fenger's most painful days, you were by his side. In the future we'll face many storms. You chose to accompany him and be with him. I'm very grateful to you. Really? Who asked me to like him? Kang Sengyi didn't know what to say at Sima Yoyue's solemn expression. Aya, let's not talk about this. Let's talk about the establishment of the force. At this moment the door opened. Shimin Feng and Third Aunt Du came out. Seeing the two people in the pavilion, they walked over and said, "What are you talking about?" "We're talking about Feng Er and Xiang Yi." Sima Yue stood up and sat down with Third Aunt Du. "Feng Er also told me just now. Miss Xiang Yi, thank you." Third Aunt Du said gratefully. "Third Aunt, don't thank me." Kang Sengyi blushed again. "Hehe, okay, I won't talk about it." Third Aunt Du saw Kang Sengyi like this and didn't wash her away. She turned her head and asked Sima Yue, "I just heard Xiang Yi talk about establishing a force. Why do you plan to establish a force?" Sima Yue and Shimin Feng looked at each other and nodded, saying, "Yes, we plan to establish a force to avenge our dead relatives." Third Aunt Du saw Sima Yoyue's serious expression and knew that she wasn't joking. Her heart was shocked by this news. Chapter 701. Sima Yue saw the shock in Third Aunt Du's eyes and explained, "The Zhongzheng clan and Yinyang Palace are very powerful. If we want to take revenge, we can't do it alone. Although I'm the junior valley master of the Divine Devil Valley, I haven't been there before. I'm not familiar with them, and I can't let them take the risk for my personal revenge." "You're right. We can't let others pay with their lives for our affairs," Third Aunt Du said. "But if we want to build a force, how can it be done in a day? We're not in a hurry to take revenge." Sima Yue said, "Our forces are not strong now. At least wait until we are stronger." But to establish a force, financial and material resources. Third Aunt Du still felt that this matter was not easy to handle. "Sanyang, we've already prepared the financial resources. We also have all kinds of professional masters. There are formation masters, beast tamers, alchemists, weapon refiners, and seeker spirit masters among our friends. So we don't lack professional masters." Sima Yue said, "The only thing we lack now is people. This isn't difficult either." Hearing her say this, Third Aunt Du nodded and said, "You've always had a plan when you were young. Since you've already thought it through, go ahead and do it. No matter what you do, Sanyang will support you." Sima Yue pulled Third Aunt Du's arm and rubbed against it, acting coquettishly. "I knew Third Aunt would support me," she said with a grin. "Even if I don't support you, you still have to do it, right? Since my opposition is ineffective, I might as well support you." Although Third Aunt Du's tone was helpless, her eyes were full of love. "Third Madam dotes on me," Sima Yue said contentedly. "However, you can't do this alone. Count Third Aunt in as well." Third Aunt Du said. "Third Aunt." Shimin Feng wanted to stop Third Aunt Du. "Feng Er. Third Mother's family was broken, and her people died a long time ago. It was the Shimin clan who gave it to my family. Do you think Third Aunt can stay out of this matter?" Third Aunt Du asked. "I just feel that since you already have a stable life, if you stay with us, I'm afraid there will be a lot of danger." Shimin Feng said, "I'm your elder. If there's any danger, I should be in front of you." Third Aunt Du said, "Otherwise, if your third uncle knew, he would come back and scold me." "Feng Er, if Third Mother wants to come, then let her come. It just so happens that we're short of people in the early stages. There are many times when you can't appear, and I spend most of my time in the academy. It's good that Third Mother can help us look after things." Sima Yue said, "Yu is still the most sensible. Feng Er, you're so naughty. You don't have to eat the pastries I make later." Third Aunt Du threatened. "Third Aunt." Shimin Feng grabbed Third Aunt Du's other hand, which made Kang Sengyi's eyes widen. This guy was actually acting spoiled. She thought that Shimin Feng was already different in front of Sima Yue, but she did not expect that there would be a day when he would act coquettishly. Oh my god! Did she see wrongly? Seeing Kang Sengyi's expression, Shimin Feng pretended to cough twice and sat upright. "Third Aunt, you know that Feng Er really likes the pastries you make. If you don't let him eat, he'll cry later." Sima Yue did not feel that acting spoiled was shameful. Anyway, She was a girl and could act spoiled no matter how old she was. Thinking of this, she even rubbed against Third Aunt Du's arm. Hee hee, I'll make some for you later, Third Aunt Du said with a smile. Outside the courtyard, Xiao Wu saw Third Aunt Du like this, and her face was full of unwillingness. Why did these people have to stick to Master? Master was clearly hers. Master had never smiled at her like this before. Now she was actually smiling so happily. Sima Yue felt the grievance from there, and her eyes flashed. Then she said to Third Aunt Du, Third Aunt, are you familiar with the dark forest? Not really. I have an agreement with the spirit silkworms. They provide me with silk, and I give them the spirit wine I brew. Third Aunt Du said, the spirit silkworm's habitat is not in the depths of the forest, so I haven't really gone in. Then do you want to go in with us this time to take a look? Go into the forest? Third Aunt Du was a little surprised. Yes, after leaving here, we have to start planning to build up our forces. Third Aunt, you have to leave with us too. Don't you want to see what the forest looks like before you leave? Sima Yue said. Xiao Wu hasn't been there before, right? It's a good opportunity for her to broaden her horizons. The more she sees, the faster she grows. But Wu Er is still young and her strength is not high. Now that the dark forest is dangerous, won't it be too dangerous to go in? We can protect her. Sima Yue said. Third Aunt, don't worry. Since we've decided to go in, we have enough confidence to come out safely. Alright then. Third Aunt Du saw Sima Yue's insistence and agreed. Then when are we going? We'll go after you make us pastries. Sima Yue said. I was just about to inform the others to come over. Since we're all going, I'll make more. Third Aunt Du stood up. Thank you, Third Aunt. Third Aunt Du left and walked to the door of the courtyard. Seeing Xiao Wu standing there, she asked, Wu Er, why are you here? Xiao Wu looked at Third Aunt Du pitifully, her eyes full of tears. Hearing her question, she didn't say anything and turned to run away. Master was no longer her master. She would let her do such a dangerous thing. She really didn't love her anymore. Third Aunt Du saw Xiao Wu run out crying and knew her character. She shook her head helplessly and didn't chase after her. She turned to the kitchen. Yue, if Third Aunt wants to participate in this matter, then her disciple should also come. But I see this little girl's character, Kong Sengyi said worriedly. The disciple chosen by Third Aunt won't have a bad character. But because she was brought up by Third Aunt and depended on Third Aunt since she was young, she was used to Third Aunt giving her all the love. Now that Feng Er and I have appeared, she will have a sense of crisis, as if we stole her master. A little temper can be tolerated. But if it's too much, we don't mind correcting Third Aunt's character for her disciple. So you let them go to the dark forest with you? Kong Sengyi asked. Yes. Look at her performance in the dark forest. Sima Yue said. And what I just said to Third Aunt is indeed a reason. This child has always stayed in the city and rarely goes out. Seeing more of the outside world can also broaden her horizons and expand her mind. At least she won't feel that there's only Third Aunt in her life. Her talent is very good. Kong Sengyi said. It is not bad, so I hope she can follow Third Aunt well. If she really doesn't listen, then we can only. The matter of forming a force couldn't be spread. She had to exclude all uncertain factors. Chapter 702. Crazy Wife. Godly Doctor 5th Missy Chapter 702. Spirit Silkworm Chapter 702. Spirit Silkworm Sima Yue went to the kitchen alone, intending to help Third Aunt Du and tell her her thoughts. I've spoiled Wu Er too much over the years. Third Aunt Du was not angry. It's good that you want to test her. What we are going to do must be kept secret. If the Zhongzheng clan and Yinyang Palace find out, the consequences are not something we can bear. Thank you, Third Aunt. Sima Yue said. But I believe in Third Aunt's judgment in choosing people. Xiao Wu is a little emotional now. Once she releases her emotions, I think she will be a great help to us in the future. I hope so. Third Aunt Du sighed. She did not like to interact with others all these years, and relied on Xiao Wu for survival. Even Xiao Wu liked to stick to her. She had something on her mind, and neglected to guide Xiao Wu, causing her to be a little stubborn now. She hoped that she could guide her properly this time. Fatty Chu and the rest got the news from Sima Yue and checked out of their rooms and came looking for her. After third Aunt Du finished making the pastries, she went to look for Xiao Wu and said something to her. When everyone set off, Xiao Wu also came along. Her eyes were red, and it was obvious that she had just cried. But the way she looked at Sima Yue and the rest was not as angry as before. Sima Yue smiled at her. If third Aunt Du could help her open her heart, then they could skip the part of testing her. If not, let's go according to the route from Chongming. We will probably take 6 to 7 days, she said to everyone. They came out of the city, and Sima Yue called Chongming out. Everyone went up and flew towards the dark forest. When Xiao Wu saw Chongming, she was a little shocked. She did not expect her to have such a powerful sacred beast. Thinking about her own contracted beast, it was a level 1 sacred beast that her master had painstakingly obtained for her. Thinking about her master, she thought about what her master had said to her just now. Yue and Feng are my family, and you are the child I brought up. I won't abandon you because of them. I hope you can get along well with them. They didn't join to fight with you for me, but to love you with me. But if you let your jealousy blind your kindness, then not only will they not like you, but master will also not want you. I know you're a kind child, so you won't let me down, right? She looked at the backs of Sima Yue and Shimen Feng. Would they really love her? However, she still wanted her master to be her own. What should she do? He felt so conflicted. Looks like we came out really late. We didn't see anyone along the way. I reckon that everyone is already in the forest. Fatty Chu saw that there was no one around, only the few of them inside. Anyway, we're not going to snatch the auspicious beast. What's the hurry? Sima Yue said cheerfully. Did those people go as well? Sima Yulin asked Bei Gongtang. Yes, their eldest brother and second brother left after 2 days. They're probably holding on to their last hope. Sima Yue said. They found out about the scarlet bees last time. You're still using scarlet bees this time. Is it okay? Sima Yuqi was a little worried. I changed to a few higher ranked ones this time. It won't be so easy to find out. Sima Yue said. It's not just them. The others also have scarlet bees with them. I pretty much know what's going on in the forest. Wow, you didn't even tell us. Fatty Chu cried out. Do I even need to say it? Sima Yue retorted. Fatty Chu glanced at the others. Everyone looked at him, as if he was stupid. He cried out. Okay, you all know but I don't. That's not fair. You should say that everyone is smart, but you're stupid. Wei Ziqi said with a smile. You didn't tell us either, but we all guessed it. Guessed? Fatty Chu was defeated. Why didn't he guess? No, it wasn't that he couldn't guess. It was just that he didn't guess. Why didn't he? In the end, he was too lazy to use his brain. Little Wu sat quietly beside third Aunt Du. She watched Sima Yu and everyone's banter. She felt that their previous interactions were strange. Everyone was so casual. They seemed to be making fun of each other, but in fact, they were very close. She suddenly understood her master's words. Third Aunt, you said in the morning that it's time for you to go to the spirit silkworms to collect silk. Why don't we go to the spirit silkworms first? Sima Yue asked third Aunt Du for her opinion. Okay. Third Aunt, give Little Rock a direction. Sima Yue patted Little Rock's back. Little Rock took everyone to the spirit silkworms territory. On the way, third Aunt Du told everyone about the spirit silkworms. There were many types of spirit silkworms. The quality of the silk produced varied according to the species. The better spirit silkworms were snow silkworm, jade silkworm, profound silk silkworm, and so on. The best silkworms now were 9-turned snow silkworm, ringed silkworm, profound sky silkworm, and so on. Because the spirit silkworms' ranks were different, the quality of the spirit cloth they weaved was also different. The defensive ability after making clothes was also different. And the amount of silk produced by a spirit silkworm in a year was not enough to weave a piece of cloth. In addition to the spirit silkworm's rank, the weaving technique also affected the quality of the spirit cloth. They wouldn't understand it even if she explained it, so third Aunt Du explained it in one sentence. No wonder the spirit cloth is so rare. It turns out to be so troublesome. Sima Yuming sighed. If this spirit cloth is of high quality, its effect will not be worse than a spirit weapon. Sima Yue said. Third aunt, your weaving and embroidery skills are already very high. If you can get rare spirit silkworms, the spirit cloth you make will definitely be good. Every spirit cloth embroiderer hopes to weave a higher quality spirit cloth. But how can those rare spirit silkworms be so easy to get? Third Aunt Du said regretfully. Since this continent has it, it is possible to encounter it. Shimen Feng said. I have heard some news about spirit silkworms, but I was not interested at that time, so I didn't pay much attention. But I remember that they seem to have said that there is a very rare spirit silkworm in the depths of Heartbreak Valley. It seems to be called Nine-Turned Snow Silkworm. Kong Sengyi said. Nine-Turned Snow Silkworm is in Heartbreak Valley? Sima Yue couldn't believe it. Heartbreak Valley is full of poisonous insects. How can Nine-Turned Snow Silkworm be there? It can't be Nine-Turned Snow Silkworm. Third Aunt Du said. The living environment of this Nine-Turned Snow Silkworm is very harsh. It needs to be clean and holy. It won't live in a place like Heartbreak Valley. If there is a rare spirit silkworm there, it is probably ringed silkworm. Third Aunt, what does this ringed silkworm look like? Sima Yue asked. The biggest characteristic of ringed silkworm is that it absorbs poison, transforms it into spirit power in the body, and then injects the spirit power into the silk that it spits out. Read, please remember our address. Download, please go to Chapter 703. We've been to Heartbreak Valley before. Even with our valley's special pills, we can't get close to the depths of the valley. Kong Sengyi said. Heartbreak Valley is known as one of the 3 poisonous places in the middle. The poisonous gas inside is naturally extraordinary. Third Aunt Du said. But the ringed silkworms bred in this place are of higher quality. Really? Sima Yue's eyes lit up. If we can figure out a way to get in, we might be able to find the ringed silkworm and obtain its silk. By then, all of us will be wearing spirit clothes. It will be very eye-catching. Hihi Yue, I want 2 sets. Fatty Chu shouted first. Sima Yue poked her. You're so useless. You're only satisfied with 2 sets. When the time comes, we can raise as many spiritual silkworms as we want. Actually, this is also possible. There are still quite a few spirit cloth embroiderers on the mainland. Third Aunt Du said. If we can recruit them, they can also become an industry in the future. Third Madam knows about this. You used to be the one in charge of the Shimen family's spirit cloth business. Sima Yue said. I don't know if the embroiderers in the family escaped the disaster that year. Sanyang, if there are any surviving embroiderers, we'll guarantee their safety if they want to come back. If they're already living their own lives, we won't disturb them. All right. Third Aunt Du replied. When I first heard that the clan was in trouble, I dismissed them. I think many of them escaped. Before they left, they told us where they might go in the future. When the time comes, we'll go look for them. The blood feud back then shattered our happy life. Sima Yue said. Whether those people are willing to come back or not, don't make things difficult for them. After all, they have no obligation to face the difficulties ahead with us. Yes, they really don't have that obligation. Third Aunt Du said. Little Wu, you've heard what we're going to do. There will be a lot of danger. If you want to leave, Master will arrange a good life for you. Xiao Wu was shocked. She grabbed her hand and begged. Master, don't abandon Wu'er. Wu'er will be very obedient and won't cause trouble. Could it be that Master was going to abandon him because of them? Thinking of this, her eyes instantly filled with tears. Wu'er, it's not that Master doesn't want you anymore. It's just that what Master is about to do is very dangerous. Master doesn't want you to be in danger too. Master hopes that you will be safe and sound. Third Aunt Du patted her hand to comfort her. Xiao Wu kept shaking her head. She couldn't stop her tears from falling. Master, Wu'er has lived for 20 years. I've been with Master since I was a few years old. Wherever Master goes, Wu'er will follow. Wu'er is not afraid of danger. Master, don't let Wu'er go. Is that okay? Third Aunt Du was a little hesitant. She was also reluctant to send Wu'er away. After all, She had been with her for so many years. However, she felt that what happened next was too dangerous. After thinking about it again and again, she decided to send her away. Xiao Wu saw that third Aunt Du was still hesitating, and turned her gaze to Sima Yue, saying, Yue, help me beg Master not to chase me away. As long as I can stay, I will do anything. I don't care about anything. I don't want anything. I just want to follow Master. Sima Yue saw that Xiao Wu's eyes were really scared. She said to Third Aunt Du, Third Aunt, since Xiao Wu doesn't want to leave, let her stay. We will protect her. But our early operations were carried out in secret. You will also arrange for her to be in a safe place. As long as the news doesn't leak out, nothing will happen. When we develop later, it won't be easy for them to hurt Xiao Wu. Sima Yue said with a smile. Third Aunt, when third uncle died, the Shiman family was torn apart. Your life definitely wasn't easy. Although you raised her, she also filled your life. If you send her away, you definitely won't be able to bear it. Third Aunt, you are very important to Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu is also the most important to you. Just let her stay. Xiao Wu nodded with tears flowing down her face. She looked at Third Aunt Du expectantly. Third Aunt Du hesitated for a moment before replying. All right then, you will follow me. You have to always follow me. You must not act alone. Okay, I won't. I promise. Xiao Wu smiled through her tears this time. Third Aunt Du took out a handkerchief and wiped her tears. How old are you? Still crying. So many people are watching. Be careful not to laugh at you. Xiao Wu took the handkerchief and covered her face. She was a little embarrassed. Third Aunt, since Xiao Wu is your disciple, she is naturally my sister. We only have a few girls in our group. We can't wait to dote on her. How can we laugh at her? Fatty Chu said with a smile. Indeed here, only Yu Bei Gong and Little Seven are girls. The rest are boys. Now that Xiao Wu is here, everyone will naturally treat her as a sister. Sima Yulu echoed. I also think it's good to have a sister. Shimin Feng said. Elder sister and younger sister. That was a different feeling. In fact, everyone knew what Xiao Wu was thinking these 2 days. They had also interacted with many people over the years. Although Xiao Wu didn't think it through for a while, her temperament was not bad. She was even a little simple. Otherwise, she wouldn't show all her emotions on her face for everyone to see. Such a simple girl. As long as she thought it through, she would be liked by everyone. When Xiao Wu heard what they said, she thought that her master was right. They weren't here to steal her master. If she was with them, she would be protected by them. Thinking of her own thoughts, she was a little embarrassed. She shouldn't be jealous of them. She thought it through. She didn't feel uncomfortable when she saw Third Aunt Du smiling at Yu and the others. Third Aunt Du understood her disciple. Seeing her eyes, she knew that she really thought it through. She sighed in relief. Although she agreed to let Xiao Wu stay by her side, if she didn't think it through, she didn't dare to let her stay. If she didn't sincerely want to be with everyone, she might cause trouble in the future. It wouldn't be good for her or everyone. Fortunately, they entered the dark forest in 5 or 6 days. Little Rock took everyone to the place where the spirit silkworms were. Third Aunt Du thought that it had been a long time since she came to collect silk. There should be more. But when she arrived at the place she was familiar with, she found that there was not a single spirit silkworm. Master, the spirit silkworms are gone. Xiao Wu came here twice with Third Aunt Du in the past. There were spirit silkworms everywhere. The silk that they spat out was placed in the middle of the lake. But now, not a single spirit silkworm was seen. Could they have been taken away by those people who came in front? Sima Yuran asked. There are no traces of destruction here. It shouldn't be. I'll try to contact them first. After saying that, she took out a small whistle and blew it twice. Chapter 704. Third Aunt Du blew the whistle 3 times. Everyone waited for 2 minutes, but there was no movement anywhere. Master, is this whistle useful? Xiao Wu asked. There should be. Third Aunt Du said with some uncertainty. Back then, I made an agreement with their king that if something were to happen in the future, we would use this as a communication signal. I tried it twice and it worked. But you've already boasted for so long, and there's still no movement. Could it be that they're no longer here? Bei Gongtang asked. That's hard to say. I have been getting along well with them for more than 10 years. I hope nothing bad happens to them. I'll try again, Third Aunt Du said worriedly. After that she blew the whistle again. There's movement. Sima Yue looked at the calm lake and said. Just as she finished speaking, a small head poked out from the side of the lake and looked around carefully. Seeing Third Aunt Du on the shore, the little idiot rushed out of the water. Sanyang is here. The small body was completely out of the water. It was actually a round silkworm. When the spirit silkworm saw Du Sanyang, it immediately pounced over. Little fatty, why did you go into the lake? Where are the others? Third Aunt Du reached out to catch little fatty and asked. Sanyang, Sanyang. Third Madam, we're here. Third Madam is here. Spirit silkworms emerged from the water one after another. For a moment, the surface of the lake was densely covered with spirit silkworms. So many spirit silkworms. When everyone saw so many spirit silkworms, they were all extremely astonished. Little Xian, Little White, why did you all go into the lake? Sanyang asked. Sanyang, a lot of people have come to the forest recently. Many of our neighbors have been captured or killed. The king wants us to hide at the bottom of the lake. Luckily we hid in time. There were a lot of people behind us, and we were scared to death. Little Fatty spun around twice in Du Sanyang's hands and said, Where is your king? Sima Yuming asked. The king is still in the water. The queen is pregnant with a baby again, and is currently in labor. Little Fatty said. The queen said that the baby born from the spiritual embryo this time will be very powerful. How can these silkworms live in the water? Fatty Chu asked Sima Yue in confusion. Where is this place? Sima Yue glanced at him. The dark forest? Where is the dark forest? Primordial lands. In the primordial lands, what's so strange about spirit silkworms that can live in water? Why are you making such a fuss? That's true. Fatty Chu rubbed his head. Even the ringed silkworm can live in the poisonous miasma, so there's nothing strange about the spirit silkworm that can live in the water. Oh no, not good. A small humanoid figure came out of the water and shouted. What happened? King, she can't give birth to a king. I've used up all my spiritual energy, and I can't hold on much longer. The little one said anxiously. What? The spirit silkworms in the water, and the people on the shore cried out. The spirit silkworms wanted to dive down to take a look, but they were stopped by a force. The queen can't handle so many of you going to see her. A 1-foot-tall little person with a white beard came out of the water. She was the one who stopped everyone just now. Grandpa-son, how is Ruoli? Very bad. The white-bearded old man waved his sleeves, and those spirit silkworms flew out of the water and landed steadily on the shore. Elder son Ruolishi, Third Aunt Du was very worried. Can you let me take a look at her situation? The queen can't move in the water now, and you can't stay in the water for too long. There's nothing you can do if you go down, Elder son said to her, then turned to the other spirit silkworms. Hurry and go to the forest to find anything that can increase your spiritual energy or prolong your life. Go quickly. Sima Yue saw that Third Aunt Du was very anxious. Third Aunt, I'm a pill master, and can stay in the water for a long time. I'll go down and take a look. Elder son and the other spirit silkworms looked over at the same time. Third Aunt Du excitedly grabbed Sima Yue's hand. That's right, you're a pill master, so you might have a way. Elder son, let her go down and take a look at Ruoli. Her? Elder son looked at Sima Yue suspiciously. She's my nephew. Let her take a look, and she might be able to save Ruoli. Third Aunt Du said. Elder son, you don't have any other ideas, right? I want to go too. Little Seven grabbed Sima Yue's hand, emphasizing her presence. Elder son hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Follow me. Elder son returned to the water, and Sima Yue brought Little Seven down. One had eaten the water avoidance pearl, while the other was an unknown species. Anyway, being underwater didn't affect them much. Sima Yue followed Elder son down for a long time. She originally thought that it was just a small lake in the forest, but there was a whole new world below. It was so big that it was strange. Elder Sun brought them to the bottom of the lake. On a high platform, a huge spirit silkworm lay on it, its abdomen bulging. Because of the difficult birth, its entire body seemed to be weak, floating on the surface of the water. Elder Sunday, did you get something good? A 1-foot-tall little girl asked. Not yet. This is Sanyang's nephew. He said that he's an alchemist, and is here to take a look at the queen. Elder Sun said. Once they heard that it was Sanyang's nephew, everyone's resistance was reduced. They opened up a gap for Sima Yue to take a look at Ruali. Sima Yue swam over, reaching out her hand to touch the bulging abdomen. Ruali seemed to sense it, and opened her eyes slightly. Queen, let me check for you. Sima Yue inserted a bit of spirit energy into Ruali's abdomen. The spirit energy first circled around her abdomen, then circled around her body. How is it? Is there a way? Elder Sun asked anxiously. According to the time of your spirit silkworms, this queen isn't due to give birth yet, right? Why would she give birth in advance? Sima Yue asked. She was hurt by a human, that's why she gave birth in advance. A little person beside Ruali said. Do you have a way or not? I have a way, but I'm afraid that you won't be able to accept it. Sima Yue said. What way? Elder Sun asked. Contract. Contract. Hearing Sima Yue's words, everyone present shouted. How is that possible? No, definitely not. Before she could say the reason, the spirit silkworms all raised their objections. How could their queen form a contract with a human and become a human's contracted beast? Sima Yue wasn't in a hurry. She took out a pill and fed it to Ruali. Seeing that her life force had stopped flowing, she then turned to Elder Sun and the rest and said, You have less than a day to consider this matter. A day? That's right. Sima Yue said. Her life force is flowing away, not only because of the birth, but also because of this. She pointed at the bulge, her meaning obvious. Chapter 705. Because of the king's child, everyone was confused. If this wasn't a difficult labor, then what was it? Seeing her like this, it seemed that she had a different idea from what they were thinking. Which one of you will inject spiritual energy into your king's abdomen? Sima Yue said. I'll do it. A woman volunteered. She injected her spiritual energy into Ruali's body. But she didn't break the connection with herself. When she felt her spiritual energy being absorbed by the child in her womb, she was so shocked that she couldn't speak. How is it? Elder Sun asked. All of the spirit energy has been absorbed by the child in my abdomen. The woman said blankly. How could this be? Everyone's expression changed drastically. They all understood what kind of consequences this would cause. Your Wang Huai's child must be a mutated breed. Although it's not time yet, its vitality is extremely strong. If it grows according to the usual amount of spiritual power, it will be very normal when it's born. However, because your queen was injured by a human, the child in her womb was injured, resulting in premature birth. If it was an ordinary child, it would have been fine, but it was a mutated one. Not only did the injury not harm it, but it also stimulated its desire to live, causing it to unconsciously absorb the surrounding spiritual energy. Most of your king's spiritual energy must have been sucked away by it. Then what do we do? The spirit silkworms cried out. The pill I gave her just now can provide her with spiritual energy, but no matter how much it provides, it's not enough for the child in her womb. Once it's finished, your king's life will come to an end. Sima Yue said. Don't you have a way to make it come out? Yes, cut her belly open and take out the child. But if you do that, your king will die as well. Sima Yue said. Her situation was that she couldn't give birth to the child. She wanted to give birth to the child, but she woke up with a start. It couldn't stop automatically. No matter what we do, the final possibility is that 2 lives will be lost. Then what should we do? Everyone panicked. Although the contract will cause your king to lose his freedom, it will ensure the safety of his wife and child. This pill can support your king for half a day. After half a day, if you don't have the power of the contract to heal the mother and son, then this half a day will be the last half a day of their lives. Sima Yu said, you can make your own choice. Go ashore with your king if you please. If you don't want to, that's your choice. Little Seven, let's go up. Sima Yue swam ashore with Little Seven. Seeing them come out, Third Aunt Du immediately asked about Ruo Li's situation. Sima Yue told them the truth. Only then did everyone realize that the king's condition was so serious. Other than the contract, is there really no other way? Third Aunt Du asked in disbelief. Sima Yue shook her head. This is the last resort. The other methods, no matter what you do, will lead to 2 deaths. But Ruo Li won't be willing. Third Aunt Du understood the spirit silkworm, and understood Ruo Li. It wouldn't be willing to recognize a human as its master. Not necessarily. Sima Yue felt that Na Ruo Li would be willing. You don't understand Ruo Li. She is a proud woman. She will never recognize a human as her master. Third Aunt Du said with certainty. But you forgot that she has another identity now. Sima Yue said. What identity? Little Seven raised her head and asked. Other than being the king of the spirit silkworm clan, she is also the mother of an unborn child. Sima Yue said. A woman can do anything for her child, not to mention exchanging it for its life. Is this a choice between freedom and a child? This is too difficult for it. Xiao Wu said. There are always many choices in life. You can't escape just because it's difficult. Also, many times we can't escape. Sima Yue sighed. Xiao Wu looked at Sima Yue. She still couldn't understand what she was saying, because she had never experienced such a situation before. But she felt that what she said made sense. But she couldn't tell where it made sense. If it's possible, I hope that she can choose to live. Third Aunt Du sighed. She felt sad that her friend had to go through such a thing. The spirit silkworms by the shore were silent. They didn't want their king to die. And they didn't want her to become a human's contract beast. And the child in her belly? Their clan rarely encountered a mutated child. If it couldn't live, it would be a pity. Let's wait. Sima Yue found a big tree to sit down after speaking. Little Seven sat beside her and leaned on her, reaching out her hand to play with her hair. N. Even if she's willing to contract with a human, there shouldn't be much time left, right? Little Seven asked. Why? She's a sacred beast. Although Ziqi can tame sacred beasts, he needs to spend a lot of time to completely tame them. This king can't last that long, right? Little Seven tugged on her hair. Since I gave them half a day's time, that means I'm confident. Unless she gives up herself, she can live. Sima Yue caught a fallen leaf and twirled it in her hand. Is there something else that I don't know? There are many things that you don't know. You'll slowly find out later. Everyone anxiously waited on the shore for the spirit silkworm king to make a decision. At the bottom of the lake, Ruo Li, who had been weakly pacing back and forth in front of the door, finally woke up. King, you're awake. Her maids happily surrounded her. Why am I still alive? King was in her original form and couldn't move at all. She could feel the spiritual energy in her body flowing towards her abdomen, which made her extremely happy. Child, my child, you're still alive. King, how do you feel now? Still all right. Ruo Li said. I remember that before I fainted, my spiritual energy was completely used up. Why is there so much energy in my body now? If I were to give birth now, would I be able to give birth to the child? This elder son hesitated for a moment. In the end, he still brought Sima Yue down for her treatment, as well as her solution. So it's like this. I was wondering why there was spiritual energy. Ruo Li lowered her eyes and looked at her huge belly. She could feel the spiritual energy in her body flowing towards her abdomen. It was as if she could feel her own child greeting her in her belly. King, that human said that this pill can only support you for half a day. After half a day, the spiritual energy in your body will be completely absorbed by the child, and you will lose your life. Furthermore, because there will be no nourishment later on, the child will not be able to survive. Elder Son said, so you're saying that the contract is the only way? Ruo Li laid on the stone platform and looked at the flickering water surface for a long time. Then she said to the maid beside her, bring me up. Chapter 706. Sima Yue was a little surprised when she saw Old Sun and the rest bringing Ruoli up. Although she had expected her to come up, she didn't expect her to come up so quickly. It seemed like Ruoli cared more about this child than she had imagined. When Third Aunt Du saw Ruoli coming up, she hurried over and asked with concern, "Ruoli, how are you?" Ruoli's body was still weak, but it was better than before. She said weakly, "I'm all right. Who was it that saved me just now?" "I didn't save you. I just helped you buy some time." Sima Yue stood up and patted the grass off her butt. She walked over and pressed on her bulging belly. It was still hard. "Not bad. Thank you," Ruoli said gratefully. If it wasn't for her, she wouldn't have woken up this time, and she wouldn't have felt the vitality of the child in her womb again. Can the contract really save me and my child? During the contract, the power of the contract will heal all your injuries. Naturally, it will also stabilize your child. Sima Yue said. Your child was agitated and felt that its life was in danger. That's why it took the initiative to absorb spiritual energy from the outside world. After it recovered, it naturally calmed down. Won't she give birth? It hasn't matured yet. Even if it's born, it won't be good. It's better to go back to the beginning and let it grow steadily in your stomach. Sima Yue said, the child in your stomach is a mutated breed. It should be of a higher grade than you, so it will take longer to develop. Since that's the case, I'll have to trouble you. You should have a beast tamer master here, right? Ruoli said. We don't lack beast tamers. But have you thought it through? Once you tame it, you can't go back on your word, Sima Yue said. For the sake of the child, so what if I lose my freedom? Ruoli said without hesitation. Because your child is in your womb, the power of the contract will also bind it. Sima Yue pointed out another point. Ruoli hesitated for a moment before saying resolutely, that's still better than not being able to come to this world alive. But I have a request. Go ahead. Ruoli looked at Third Aunt Du and said, I hope it's with you and me. Me? Third Aunt Du was surprised, then shook her head. I already have a natal contract beast, so I can't contract you. Ruoli, I can't let you suffer. It's okay. I'm only willing to form a contract with you. Ruoli said, only by forming a contract with you will I be at ease. I believe that with your character, it doesn't matter if it's a life contract or not. Seeing the trust in Ruoli's eyes, Third Aunt Du nodded. Don't worry, I will definitely not treat you as a contracted beast. We're friends, always have been. Sima Yue had always known that San Yang was a good person, but she didn't expect that she would have such a good relationship with Ruoli, even though she hadn't been here for long. You may begin. San Yang said, and then said to Wei Ziqi, I'll have to trouble you. Third Madam, it wasn't me. Wei Ziqi waved his hands and said, it's not you? Aren't you a beast tamer? I am a beast tamer, but I'm not as good as you. If you let me do the Spirit Silkworm King, I'm afraid there won't be enough time. Wei Ziqi said, you're a beast tamer? You're a beast tamer? How come I didn't know? Third Aunt Du and Little Seven looked at Sima Yue in astonishment as they cried out in surprise. Xiao Wu was so shocked that she couldn't speak, only staring blankly at her. You didn't ask me. Sima Yue shrugged, then took out a bed and got people to carry Ruoli onto it. Carry her up here. Old Sun and the others placed Ruoli on the bed, and Sima Yue came to the bedside and placed her hand on its forehead. Using the imperial beast art in her body, she began to tame it. Ruoli didn't have much time, so the taming speed had to be fast. Luckily, its consciousness didn't reject this, so the taming speed was much faster. Half a day later, Ruoli was completely tamed. Third Aunt, let's form the contract. Sima Yue retreated to the side. Third Aunt Du went forward and placed her hand on Ruoli's forehead. The contract formation quickly wrapped around the two of them, and when the formation dissipated, the two of them had successfully formed the contract. King's aura has stabilized. The spirit silkworms on the shore cheered. Ruoli felt the connection with Ruoli in her body, and also felt the child's condition in her body. She finally relaxed. But before she could say anything, she and Third Aunt Du were wrapped up by the formation of a level up. Third Aunt Du hadn't leveled up for a long time, and she didn't expect her stagnant cultivation to improve after forming the contract. Ruoli was the same. Not only had her condition stabilized, but she had also leveled up. She also felt that her child seemed to have absorbed a lot of energy and had grown a little bigger. When the light of level up faded, the spirit silkworms were in an uproar. Their king hadn't leveled up for decades, and they didn't expect it to level up after forming the contract. This was too surprising. The spirit silkworms were born with spiritual energy and could spit out silk with spiritual energy. This was a blessing from the heavens. But perhaps because of this, their level-up speed was slower than other spirit beasts, and it was harder for them to level up. Ruoli came down from the bed and bowed to Sima Yue, saying gratefully, "Thank you. You saved me and my child. You are Third Ant's friend. Third Ant will only be happy if you are well." Sima Yue said, "But you are now Third Ant's contracted beast. You can only follow Third Ant, then they." She glanced at the spirit silkworms on the shore. Would these fellows let them leave? King. The spirit silkworms felt uncomfortable when they thought of this problem. King was now their contracted beast, and had to leave with Third Ant. Do what would happen to them? You can choose the next king. Ruoli said. Without the king's bloodline, no one will be convinced to be king. Elder Son said. But if I want to leave, you can't leave with me. Ruoli said. We will leave with the king. Ruoli's mates said. They had all gone through the lightning tribulation and turned into human form. Although their bodies were only a foot tall, if they wanted to leave, it wouldn't be too much of a problem. We also want to leave with the king. The spirit silkworms on the shore also called out. Yes, king. Don't leave us behind. Some of the spirit silkworms were already crying. Ruoli was so sad that tears were about to fall. Why are you following me? I will go to a very far place in the future. Are you willing to go with me? Wherever the king is, we will be there. Elder Son, who had been silent all this while, opened his mouth and said something that Ruoli couldn't reject. King, you are connected to everyone by a contract. If you don't die, the next king won't be able to get this. So wherever she was, their clan would be there. Chapter 707. Ruoli and the spirit silkworms were silent. With this restriction, they had no way of separating. Third Ant Du and Ruoli were close friends and understood their restrictions. Seeing Ruoli in a difficult position, she said, Why don't you stay? But I can't be too far away from you. Ruoli said, You have so many people they can't leave you. Third Ant Du said, I'm just afraid that if I leave in the future and something happens, it will affect you. Sanyang, you don't have to be so troubled. Sima Yue understood what they were struggling with. If they don't want to leave their king, then let's leave together. Yue, you don't know this, but Ruoli and the others are ice silkworms. They have high requirements for their environment. If they leave this place, they might not be able to find an environment suitable for them. Third Ant Du said, And we're going to do those things, so we won't stay in one place forever. There are so many of them. It'll be troublesome to move them. Third Madam, this is easy. Sima Yue said. When the time comes, we will definitely choose a place to be our sect. When the time comes, we will find a place for them in the sect. If the environment is not suitable, then we will modify it to be suitable. Modification? I remember that third uncle once gave you a strange stone, right? Sima Yue asked. Third Ant Du thought for a moment, and took out a small box with a small stone inside. This. Sima Yue took it and looked at it. This is it. Third uncle has given it to you for so many years, but you haven't refined it? Third Ant Du shook her head and said, When the two of us were together in the past, I didn't find this strange. Later, I often used it to reminisce about your third uncle, but I didn't think of refining it. This is just a stone. Can it be refined? Of course. Sima Yue said. If I'm not wrong, this stone should be a meson. Meson? What is that? Sima Yue asked. In our current world, there are many little realms. You all know this. Sima Yue said. Everyone nodded. Didn't they want to stay in the little realm for a year? That time, we entered a big little realm. But not all little realms are that big. There are many small realms that are only as big as a house or a square. Sima Yue said. I've read about it in an ancient book. In the past, when the powerful people discovered this kind of small world, they would use their own methods to make it their own. They would refine it, and then use all kinds of mesons as a medium to enter. Could it be that this is also a meson that entered the little realm? If I'm not wrong, it should be, Sima Yue said. Back then, third uncle vaguely mentioned this, but at that time, I wasn't sensitive to space, so it was only a guess. But now, I'm half sure because I can feel the spatial fluctuations. Really? Master, quickly try and see if this is really a meson, Xiao Wu said excitedly. Although she had never been to the little realm, she had heard about it from her master, and knew what kind of place it was. If it was really a small realm, it would be much more convenient for them. Especially now, they wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Sanyang, this can only be confirmed after refining it. You should refine it first, Sima Yue said. Okay. Sanyang picked up the stone and put the box away. Then, she sat cross-legged on a large rock and began to refine it. She refined it for more than 10 days. And when she opened her eyes again, she already had a trace of connection with the stone. With a thought, she disappeared from the spot. This made Xiao Wu excited and scared, seeing someone disappear for the first time. Where's Master? Looks like I guessed right. She should have gone to the little realm. Sima Yue comforted Xiao Wu. Don't worry, Sanyang will be out soon. Okay. Xiao Wu nodded, but she was still a little nervous. At this moment, Third Aunt Du was standing in a strange place. Seeing a forest that was comparable to the entire dark forest, she couldn't react in time. This is the little realm that Yue was talking about? It's amazing, there really is such a space. She looked around in amazement. I'll bring them in to take a look first. Then we'll see the situation here later. Thinking of this, the word out flashed through her mind, and she appeared in front of everyone. Master! Xiao Wu saw Third Aunt Du come out, and quickly ran over to grab her clothes. Master! You just disappeared into thin air. You scared me to death. Sanyang, how is it? Sima Yue asked with a smile. It's just as you said. It's a little realm, Third Aunt Du said excitedly. But I haven't seen the situation inside yet. I was afraid that you would be worried, so I came out first. Then let's go in and take a look, Sima Yue said. You just have to think of bringing us in together. Third Aunt Du was so happy that she forgot how Sima Yue knew this. She wanted to bring everyone in, and with a thought, the scenery in front of everyone changed. This is the little realm? It's similar to the outside world? Xiao Wu looked around. It's basically the same, just not in the same space. Kong Sengyi said. This little realm looks a lot bigger than the dark forest. But it's still gray in the distance. Third Aunt, you haven't completely refined it, right? Third Aunt Du nodded, saying, I spent such a long time to refine it a little and establish a connection with it. If I want to completely refine it, I'm afraid I'll need a few years. It's not bad to have this, Sima Yue said. It's already so big without completely refining it. When you completely open it later, this little realm will not be small. Ruoli, what do you think of the environment here? Can you live here? Third Aunt Du asked. Of course. Ruoli was very excited the moment she came in. We ice silkworms need a place with abundant spiritual energy. The spiritual energy here is even more abundant than where we're living now. The environment is also similar, so it's much better than here. It's just missing a lake. Isn't that simple? We just have to dig a lake here, then move the water from the lake outside here. Fatty Chu said. This idea is feasible. Fatty, I'll leave this task to you, Sima Yue said. Alright, it's very simple. Fatty Chu took out a hand grenade spirit weapon and threw it far away. After the grenade exploded, a huge hole was formed just like that. He looked at Sima Yue proudly, saying, How is it this isn't bad, right? It's possible, but isn't your place too far from the forest here? Sima Yue asked. It seems so. Fatty Chu looked at the distance, and it was indeed a little far. This lake needs to be in the forest, so you should slowly dig one. Chapter 708. When Fatty Chu heard Sima Yue's words, he howled in pain. He kept yelling at her for not reminding him earlier, and causing him to waste a grenade. Sima Yue ignored his accusatory gaze, and turned to Third Aunt Du. Third Aunt, since you can open this place, you should be able to control it. Try and see if you can dig a lake here. You can do that. Third Aunt Du was very surprised. Of course you can. This is your space. As long as the messin is with you, you can do whatever you want. Sima Yue said. If you don't believe me, you can try moving the stone to the other side. Third Aunt Du nodded. She used her mind to think for a moment, and really moved the stone to a new position. Master is so amazing. Xiao Wu clapped her hands and looked at Third Aunt Du with admiration. Third Aunt Du tried a few other things, and gradually understood how to control this little world. Then, under the shocked gazes of Xiao Wu and Ruali, she dug a lake that was about the same size as the one outside. Now we just have to move in the lake water from the outside. Third Aunt Du smiled at Ruali after she was done. Amen. I believe that they will definitely like this place. Ruali said happily. I also hope that they will like it here, so you don't have to be troubled. Third Aunt Du sighed. Let's bring them in first. The spirit silkworms moved. They brought everything to the little realm. Not even a single strand of silk was left behind. After dealing with the spirit silkworm, Sima Yue and the rest continued to move deeper into the dark forest. They had been delayed here for 10 days, and many of them had already entered the depths of the forest. Yue, won't we be too late when we get there? Third Aunt Du asked. Sima Yue gazed into the depths of the forest and said, so much time has passed. They have already reached the depths of the dark forest, but they have yet to reach the center. If we follow the route that those people took, it will save us a lot of trouble. We should be able to reach the center around the same time as the others. But I don't think it's possible to trick the Sage Pavilion's people. We won't have the chance this time. We'll come again next time. Fatty Chu said. Yes, it's just something that happened along the way. Sima Yue said. Then what is your purpose in coming here? Little Dance asked. We've accepted a mission from the academy to collect flamingo eggs. Imperial College is a good place. As if remembering something, Third Aunt Du's expression was full of emotion. Chongming led everyone according to the information sent back by the scarlet bees. They avoided the ferocious spirit beasts along the way, and approached the central area of the forest without experiencing a single battle. We'll reach the central area if we continue forward. We'll be a target if we walk in the air, so we can only move forward on foot, Sima Yue said to everyone. Chongming brought them to the ground, then transformed into his human form and followed them. There were many traces of people walking on the ground. It seemed that there were quite a lot of people walking here. With so many marks, it should be that many people chose to walk in after arriving here. Wei Ziqi guessed. It's too dangerous here, especially when we're flying in the air. We'll become targets for land spirit beasts and humans. Since we're all here for the auspicious beast, we definitely don't want to become the target of others before we reach our destination. There are charred corpses here, and the trees have been destroyed. There should have been a battle here not too long ago. It should be. Looking at the size of the pit, the person who fought here was at least at the level of a divine emperor. Then to be able to fight with the other party and cut down the surrounding trees, it means that this person's level is not too low. I didn't expect that in the end, he would still become a pile of charred bones. Even a divine emperor is dead. The people who came this time are not weak. According to the information obtained by the bees, many powers have sent experts here. There are even a few monarch-ranked. Even monarch-ranked people were attracted by the auspicious beast? Is this auspicious beast so attractive? The potential of the auspicious beast cannot be underestimated. Shimen Feng said. If a sect has an auspicious beast, their status will increase a lot in the future. And even if those experts look down on this auspicious beast cub, as long as the sect says so, they have no choice but to come. That's true. Sima Yue suddenly stopped in her tracks. What's wrong, Yue? Bei Gongtang was walking side by side with her. Seeing her stop, she asked. The people in front heard the movement, and stopped in their tracks to look back at her. Chun and the others are in danger, Sima Yue said lightly. She did not say that she was going to save them. They were recognized. Sima Yuchi guessed. Should be. Sima Yue glanced to the right and continued to walk forward. Let's go. Yue, aren't we going to save them? Fatty Chu asked, puzzled. According to Sima Yue's temperament, if the people she fancied were in danger, she should go and help. Why did it seem like nothing happened? Sima Yue was not worried about those people. They can survive so many years of being hunted down. It means that they are not weak. Since this is the case, this little trouble is not a problem for them. Since they can solve it, why should we go over? Besides, although there are many of them, they are not very strong. If they can't solve this, they are not worthy of our recruitment. We don't keep useless people. Fifth Bro is right. If we recruit useless people into our team, they might drag us down. Sima Yuran said. His gaze inadvertently swept past Little Wu. Little Wu lowered her head when she heard this. She secretly thought that she had to follow her master properly. Otherwise, what would she do if they did not want her to follow them? There is an empty space in front. We can go and rest. Sima Yue said as she walked over. A few kilometers away from them, Chun and the 10 brothers were being chased by a group of people. The 10 of them were running rather pathetically, but they did not panic. When they reached an empty space, the 10 of them stopped running and turned around to look at the people who were chasing them. What is this? Why are the vines moving? They are demonized. The vines are demonized. Quickly cut them down. They can't move. The vines are poisonous. The people who were chasing them shouted in panic. They kept fighting against the vines in the air. Those who were wrapped in the vines gradually lost their senses and became numb. Why are the vines so strange? It's that person. He's a demon. Dai stood outside the forest. His hands formed a seal, and his mouth kept chanting in a language that they did not understand. The ordinary vines grew longer and longer under his control, tying up the other people in the forest. The thorny vines pierced their skin, and those people were suspended in the air motionless. Chapter 709. Sima Yue, who was resting on the spot, suddenly had her eyes lit up. Her excitement was indescribable. Bei Gongtang had always been by her side. She could sense the change in Yue's expression. Has something happy happened? She asked. That's right. Sima Yue's smile widened. We got the treasure. We got the treasure. What treasure? Little Seven asked curiously. Good baby. Sima Yue ruffled Little Seven's hair. Hurry up and tell me. Little Seven looked very impatient. Sima Yue told them about Dai Yi's ability to control plants. Everyone was dumbfounded. He should be a wood-type spirit master, right? To be able to use one's own spiritual energy to control the plants in the forest, turning them into weapons to kill people. This is really rare in the past. Sima Yulin said. That's right. At the very least, none of us can do this. Wei Ziqi agreed. It is said that the 10 great evildoers each have their own abilities. Otherwise, they would not have been able to escape the pursuit of those people for so long. That's why I said we found a treasure, Sima Yue said. I wonder what the others are capable of. Everyone was even more curious about the 10 of them. No matter what it is, it definitely won't disappoint us, Bei Gongtang said. It's just that the more capable a person is, the more they don't like to be below others. Furthermore, the 10 great evils are used to being free. It will not be easy to get them to submit willingly. We'll know when the time comes. Sima Yue said. All right, let's go. They're heading this way. It's not the right time for us to meet them. In the forest, Dai waved his hands, and the paralyzed people fell to the ground. The demonized vines gradually returned to their original appearance. Rustle. A thin vine suddenly extended onto a large branch and wrapped around a bee that was lying on top of it. This is that person's bee. Shui Qingyang looked at the struggling bee and asked. It is indeed similar to the bees I saw that day. Shurchen reached out and sucked, and the scarlet bee was caught in his hand. Scarlet bees have been extinct in this continent, but this person has so many. If it's because he is the junior valley master of the divine devil valley, there is no news that the valley has such a thing, UC said. No, the second valley lord old man devil took out a few years ago. But even if it was him, he would not be so extravagant as to use it as a tool to investigate. Feng Kai said. But this kid, he looks so young, but he has so many scarlet bees. I guess he got the Scarlet Queen bee. Scarlet Queen? How powerful is that? And shouted. No matter who he is, he is. If we get the auspicious beast, we would not have any relationship with them, Yes. As long as we find the auspicious beast, third brother's illness will be cured. He was his DS father's. And he die Yu. He lowered his head. No one knew what he was thinking. What do we do with this scarlet bee? Let it go, Feng Kai said. Shurchen thought so too. He opened his hand, and the scarlet bee flew away. The scarlet bee flew one round in the air, and suddenly flew back, landing on Shurchen's shoulder. Yo, this little guy is still not leaving. And reached out to grab the scarlet bee, but was stopped by Shurchen. I think this is his idea, Shurchen said. Since it's nothing much, let's just bring it along. This Sima Yue has guts. He's not afraid of our reputation, and wants to make a deal with us. Shui Qingyang said. Third brother, are you really going to bring it along? Dai asked. It's okay. This scarlet bee has been following us for a while. Since we only found out now, it means that he has some tricks up his sleeve. Even if we chase this one away, there will be others. Why not just bring it along? Shurchen said. Fengji didn't say anything. He looked at the people on the ground and his eyes darkened. Let's go. I hope those people don't come looking for us again. Our patience will run out eventually. If they come again, don't blame us for being merciless. That's right. These people always want to kill us. Do they really think that we don't have a temper? Anayani said hatefully. Maybe we really need to clear our names. Shurchen said faintly. Roar dash. An immature roar suddenly resounded through the forest, and the soaring aura caused everyone in the forest to change their expressions. Big brother, this is the aura of the auspicious beast, Shui Qingyang said excitedly. Seems like the auspicious beast is still here. Let's hurry over. Anayani jumped down from the big rock. That's right. We have to hurry over. The others must have heard the roar just now. If we're late, someone might beat us to it. Yusi said. Let's use the flying beast. Feng Kai called out his flying beast, and asked everyone to hurry up. Okay. Now that everyone's attention was attracted by the auspicious beast, nobody would come looking for trouble at this time. Feng Kai's giant eagle took off from the forest. Just as they flew out of the forest, they saw Chongming bringing Sima Yue and flying a few kilometers away from them. It's them. Anayani said softly when he saw Sima Yue and the others. I didn't think that they would be so close to us. Yusi said. We don't have time to care about them now. Lao Air, speed up. Fengji said. We're already at our fastest speed. Feng Kai said. But even if they were the fastest, they could only watch as Sima Yue and the others got further and further away from them. Sima Yue was stunned when she heard the auspicious beast's roar, because she felt a familiar aura from the auspicious beast. She was puzzled. She let Chongming transform into his original form and brought everyone over. Yue, our feelings weren't wrong, right? That was really. Wei Gongtang looked worriedly and anxiously at the heart of the forest. Sima Yue's expression was solemn. If it's just one feeling, it might be an illusion. If we all feel the same, then it's not an illusion. If it's true, whether it's true or not, we'll know when we get there. Sima Yue said. There's no use in worrying now. The sky above the forest was filled with people. Those who chose to walk flew up. Everyone wanted to rush to the heart of the forest as soon as possible to see what kind of auspicious beast it was. Sima Yue and the others flew for half a day before they finally reached the heart of the forest. It was the Scarlet Flame Lake that was marked on the map. When they arrived, there were already many people standing by the lake. Seeing Nalan Lan on the shore, Sima Yue let everyone wear the human skin masks that Fatty Chu made for everyone. Chapter 710. The Scarlet Flame Lake was the largest lake in the dark forest. It was named the Scarlet Flame Lake because its water was boiling hot all year round. According to the information given by the Xinyuan Pavilion, the temperature of the lake water was very high. It contained rich fire and water attribute spiritual power. The water also contained a lot of minerals. Soaking here for a long time could achieve the effect of body refining. However, because there were many sacred beasts around, and many of them lived in groups, humans usually did not dare to come here. Thus, even though they knew that there was such a good place here, no one dared to use it. At this time, the lake was covered by a thick fog, and the people outside couldn't see the scenery inside. Before Sima Yue and the people from the Sage Pavilion noticed this, they kept the Chongming and flew towards the shore with Bei Gong Tang and the others. We can't fly over there. The entire lake is covered by a barrier. Those who came later couldn't reach the lake, so they could only land by the lake. It was no wonder that the people who came first could only stand by the shore, and did not fly to the center of the lake. Not long after Sima Yue and the rest landed, Shi Chun and his brothers arrived. Like everyone else, they were also blocked outside by the barrier. This barrier, Anayani reached out to touch the barrier and said with certainty, "This is not a natural barrier, nor was it set up by a spirit beast. It was set up by a human using a formation." Array formation? Shi Chun flew into the air to take a look and said, "Indeed, there's a huge defensive array this time. I wonder who it is that can actually set up such a formation. With this, we won't be able to enter for a while." Anayani said, "What's the hurry? If we can't get in, no one else can either." Feng Kai wasn't in a hurry. Since everyone couldn't enter, there wouldn't be a problem of who would enter first. On the other side, Sima Yu and Sima Yulin came to the same conclusion. The person who set up this array is very powerful. The defensive array was turned into a barrier. This is much better than an ordinary defensive array. Sima Yulin sighed. Normal arrays can be broken, but this is a spirit array. If you want to break the array, you have to break the spirit array first. If this is really a defensive array set up by someone, doesn't that mean that this place has already been taken by someone else? Wei Ziqi said. Yes. Sima Yulin said confidently. Furthermore, the person who set up the array is currently inside the array. However, the fog rising from the lake blocked our view, because this formation can only be activated from inside. Inside, the auspicious beast is also inside. Doesn't that mean that person is protecting that auspicious beast? Fatty Chu cried out. When the surrounding people heard their words, their faces did not look too good. They thought that they had come early. They did not expect that someone had already obtained the auspicious beast. Roar! A painful roar came from the center of the lake. When the people on the shore heard it, their eyes became even more fiery. So what if someone else obtained it? As long as there was no contract, they still had hope. This aura is getting purer each time. This auspicious beast is evolving. A middle-aged man exclaimed excitedly. His eyes, which were originally uninterested, were now glowing. He was curious about the auspicious beast. It's evolving. I wonder what kind of bloodline it will become in the future. This barrier is used to protect him, right? I heard that the auspicious beast will be very weak when it evolves. The person inside predicted that the evolution of the auspicious beast would attract many people, so he set up this barrier. No matter what, the auspicious beast and the person can't stay inside forever. As long as they come out, we have the confidence to take it. Nalan Lan's senior brother said. Nalan Lan saw more and more people and frowned. She said worriedly, "There are more and more people. Have the reinforcements arrived? Marshal uncle won't not come, right? Junior sister, don't worry. The people behind have already entered the dark forest for a few days. They should be here soon." Ma Lin said. Marshal uncle said that he would come after finding 2 people. When the time comes, he will directly cut through the void and come here. It won't delay things. Marshal uncle always has a sense of propriety when doing things. I have only seen Marshal uncle a few times. Naturally, I don't know him as well as you. Nalan Lan said. Since you say there's no problem, then it's fine. Suddenly, the space was opened, and a short, dark-skinned, bald man walked out with a few beautiful women in black. One mountain sect's ancestor is here. Ma Lin saw that dark bald man and his face sank. What kind of sect is this one mountain sect? A first-rate sect? Senior brother seems to be afraid of them? Nalan Lan had only been here for a few years. She didn't know all the losses. This one mountain sect isn't a first-rate sect, but they are very strange. They aren't strong, but they can stand tall in the central regions. This one mountain sect's ancestor is a weirdo. He often does some unusual things. His temper is strange. He likes beautiful women when he sees them, but hates people who are taller and more handsome than him. Ma Lin said. Master was so outstanding and elegant that he was jealous of him. The two of them even fought a few times. That's how the grudge was formed. If we let him know that we are Master's disciples, I'm afraid he will take his anger out on us. He can cut through the void and come here. His strength isn't low, right? I wonder who is stronger between him and Martial Uncle. Nalan Lan said. Naturally, Martial Uncle is stronger. However, this guy has many tricks up his sleeves. His battle strength is average, but he is still alive. Ma Lin didn't like this ugly bald man. He didn't even want to look at him. Sima Yue, who had been paying attention to the situation, took a second look at this dark bald man after hearing Ma Lin's words. She realized that he was indeed very ugly. However, the few black-clothed women behind him were very beautiful. It was just that they were all cold as ice. They looked at everyone as if they owed them millions of dollars. This was simply a combination of beauties and beasts. The dark bald man stood in midair and looked at the densely packed people on the shore. His thick lips parted. Oh, I didn't think that there would be so many people here. Beauties, let me take a look. Which powers have come? Sage Pavilion. Kong Valley. 10 great evils. The few beauties said one sentence after another. Very quickly, they said the names of the tens of powers that had come here. Sima Yue followed the second beauty's gaze when she said Kong Valley. Indeed, she saw a few Kong Valley disciples. She turned her head and looked at Kong Sengyi with a questioning look. They are the disciples who followed us to take revenge. At that time they came here with us. However, I didn't like them following us, so I let them move on their own. I didn't think that these guys would sneak here. Kong Sengyi said. Sima Yue leaned over to her ear and whispered, Xiangyi, send them a message later. Tell them to leave and not get involved in the matters here. If possible, they should leave as soon as possible. Chapter 711. The following is provided for you. 711. Please enjoy. Kong Sengyi had some doubts, but still nodded and said, I'll pass the message to them. Sima Yue was very satisfied with Kong Sengyi's unconditional trust. She would never cheat her, but if she doubted her, it would mean that she did not trust her. After being together for so long, if they did not reach this level, then there was no need for them to interact anymore. Kong Sengyi left after speaking. She seemed to be walking around casually, but intentionally or unintentionally, she came to the Kong Valley. She was wearing a human skin mask, so the Kong Valley people did not recognize her immediately. She came to the side of a man in white and called out softly, Senior. Lu Shenxiu was talking to the Kong Valley people about one mountain sect when he suddenly heard Kong Sengyi's voice. He was shocked. Seeing that no one was paying attention to them, he signaled the disciples beside him to block the surroundings. Junior, why are you here? Lu Shenxiu asked. I came with Feng and the rest, Kong Sengyi said. We are all wearing human skin masks, so most people will not notice me. Why are you here? I came to tell you that the Kong Valley should not get involved in this matter. Try to leave as soon as possible, but don't attract too much attention. Kong Sengyi said. Leave. Lu Shenxiu was a little surprised. Junior, didn't you always say that you wanted an auspicious beast? This is such a good opportunity. Yue must have her reasons for leaving. She has always seen things accurately. She will not harm you, Kong Xiangyi said. Although she hasn't told me why, I'm guessing that she knows what's inside, or that she's doing something that will affect others. She does not want you to be implicated, so she asked you to leave. Junior, you trust her that much? Lu Shenxiu was a little doubtful. Kong Sengyi nodded and said, I trust her. So find an excuse to leave later. Even if you don't leave, you have to leave this place. You can only watch from a safe place far away. But, senior brother, this is an order. Kong Sengyi's attitude was firm. Seeing her like this, LV Shinshio sighed and said, All right then, I'll leave with my brothers. But we will not leave. We will only retreat to the back. We must ensure your safety. Up to you, Kong Sengyi said. Don't make it too obvious. All right, I'm going back. Kong Sengyi pretended to be squeezed out. She did not go back immediately. Instead, she walked around other places and listened to other people talk before she went back. As soon as she left, LV Shinshio passed down the order to leave. More and more people squeezed over. They retreated bit by bit in the crowd. Without anyone noticing, they retreated to the back of the crowd. Kong Sengyi went back to Sima Yue and asked, Yue, why did you ask them to leave? Sima Yue felt that the aura was getting fainter and fainter. She was very worried. Seeing Kong Sengyi come back, she said, Not only they have to leave, you guys have to leave too. I'll stay here. You alone? That's too dangerous. Kong Sengyi disagreed. We didn't plan to snatch the auspicious beast, did we? Sima Yue said, I felt a familiar aura from the auspicious beast, that's why I came here. But you see, now there are more and more people coming. The scene will be very chaotic. It's better to leave. In that case, you can leave with us. Kong Sengyi said, I want to confirm if it's what I think it is. Sima Yue said, Don't worry. It's better for me to fish in troubled waters alone. You guys should leave while it's still early. Feng, take care of Sanyang and Xiaowu. Don't let them get hurt in the chaos. Yes. Shimen Feng replied. Yue, leave with us. Sanyang Du was worried about Sima Yue staying here alone. Sanyang, if I didn't guess wrongly, the people inside are very important to me. I can't leave. Don't worry, nothing will happen to me. Sanyang, don't you know her temperament? Let's go. Shimen Feng finished speaking and led everyone to retreat. Yue. Bei Gongtang grabbed Sima Yue's hand. If it's really him, I will definitely keep him safe. Sima Yue said, If something happens later, you guys can't panic. Just leave this place. Okay. I'll go with you. Little Seven held Sima Yue's hand and didn't want to leave. Little Seven, I know you're very powerful, but I have something to do later. I might not be able to take care of you. Be good and leave with them. Sima Yue persuaded. I don't want to. Little Seven still didn't agree. You're not going to listen to me? Sima Yue purposely pulled a long face. What do you want to do? I can help you. I'm very powerful. Little Seven looked at Sima Yue stubbornly. Little Seven, have you forgotten our agreement? If you follow me, you have to listen to me. I'm not sure if things are what I think. If they aren't, I'll leave later. If they are, it will hinder me from doing things if there are people around me. Little Seven, you don't want me to get hurt, right? Sima Yue squatted down and coaxed her like a child. I want to be with you. Little Seven insisted. If you don't want to be with me, then I'll just stand somewhere else. She didn't want to leave. Her instincts told her that something big would happen here, and she would most likely undergo her next evolution. So she couldn't leave. She had to wait here for her destiny. Sima Yue saw that she was so insistent, and guessed that there must be a reason that she didn't know. All right then. Stay by my side. If there's any danger, you have to listen to me. She wiped the tears from the corner of Little Seven's eyes. Little Seven nodded. She hugged Sima Yue's neck and kissed her forehead. Sima Yue kissed Little Seven's face before standing up. She said to Bei Gongtang and the others, Since Little Seven doesn't want to leave, then you guys can leave. Bei Gongtang and the others nodded and turned to leave. Their original position was quickly taken over by others. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and came to Shichen's side. Although Shichen and the others didn't see them wearing the human skin mask, they could still recognize her from her clothes. Thank you for showing mercy. Sima Yue saw the scarlet bee on Shichen's shoulder and smiled. You can return it to me now. Shichen caught the scarlet bee and passed it to Sima Yue. Leave it with you guys. I'm too lazy to send a second one. I'm not here to talk to you guys about this. Sima Yue said. Then why are you looking for us? Feng Kai asked. I want you guys to leave. Sima Yue directly stated her purpose. I love my family's academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you, everyone. Chapter 712. The following is provided for you. 712. Please enjoy. Shurchen didn't have much of a reaction to Sima Yue's words, but Nine and the rest were unhappy. What do you mean? Why are you asking us to leave? Are you afraid that we'll get the auspicious beast and cure Third Bro's illness, so you won't have the capital to trade with them? Nine said angrily. Sima Yue looked at Scarlet Lake and said faintly, There's nothing you want here, so there's no point in you staying. It's for your own good that I'm asking you to leave. As for the purpose of your words, you can think whatever you want. With that, she held Little Seven's hand and left. The brothers were baffled by her behavior. Big bro, second bro, what do you think? Shurchen asked. The people around her are gone. Feng Kai said. Didn't they wear human skin masks? Maybe they've become people we don't know. Shui Qingyang guessed. We followed them all the way here. Did you see them change their clothes? Shurchen asked. Shui Qingyang shook his head. Although they were quite far from Sima Yue, they didn't see them change their clothes, which meant that they weren't here. Since they've left, why did she stay? And she even brought a child with her. Kongren didn't understand. That's not an ordinary child. Fengji said. I didn't feel any spiritual energy waves from her body, but she didn't have the aura of an ordinary person. Could it be a transformed spirit beast? No, there's no aura of a spirit beast. Fengji shook his head. Then should we pretend that we didn't hear what she said just now? This is Third Bro's hope for survival. We can't leave just because of her words. Fengji said. But since she sent the people around her away, it means that something might happen here. We just have to be careful. The few of you have to be careful later, don't leave alone. Yes, big bro. Tens of meters away from them, Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and walked to the side of the lake, stretching out her hand to touch the enchantment. Little Seven heard Fengji's words and pouted. You told them with good intentions, but they didn't appreciate it. They still don't want to leave. They have their own plans. We can't force them. Sima Yue said. Besides, they've already realized that there's danger here. They don't want to leave because they think that this is Shurchen's hope to survive. Even if it was dangerous, they had to try their best. Don't you think that their relationship is actually very precious? Is it that difficult? If it was you guys would be the same. Little Seven said. It's precisely because I'll make the same choice that I can understand their feelings. That's why I admire them even more, Sima Yue said. If I was in danger, would you do this for me? Little Seven raised her head and asked. Of course. Sima Yue held her right hand and pinched her nose with her left hand. When Little Seven heard the answer she wanted, she smiled happily. In the latter half of the day, more and more people came to this place. Many of them directly cut through the void and came here. They were all temporarily sent here after receiving reports from their own disciples. Sima Yue saw more and more reports. Her eyebrows furrowed more and more, and her aura became colder and colder. Not only was she getting more and more anxious, but Feng Kai and the others were also getting more and more anxious. The stronger the people who came, the less chance they had. Also, a few of their former enemies came. The other party had already discovered them. It's just that their attention was now on the auspicious beast, and they hadn't dealt with them yet. They were afraid that when this matter was over, they wouldn't be able to escape the fate of being hunted down. Let's leave, Shurchen said. Third brother, let's go. Shurchen turned around and left after speaking. Many people left like them. It didn't look very unusual now. Feng Kai and the others also knew that it would be very dangerous to continue staying here. The hope of the auspicious beast was too slim. It would be fine if there weren't so many big forces and clans. In the end, many forces sent people here one after another. They had no way to contend with them now. They came to the mountain in the distance. This mountain happened to be the mountain where Sima Yulin and the others were. They could see the scene clearly from here. They left early and occupied a better place. Some people left later and occupied the mountain like them to observe the situation. But it wasn't as good as their position. I told you to leave long ago. You didn't listen to her, right? Fortunately, our position here is good. Otherwise, you won't be able to see a good show. Fatty Chu ridiculed. Feng Kai and the others landed on the mountain. When they saw the calm people, they asked, "Aren't you worried about her? What's there to worry about? Yu is powerful." Fatty Chu said, "It's a good thing that you guys finally understood. If you had stubbornly guarded that place, not to mention anything else, those powerhouses wouldn't have let you guys get it. Taking a step back, even if you got it later, can you hold on in the face of so many people? This scene is really unexpected," Yu said. "Then you're not worried about her? Leaving her and a little doll there? Yu is powerful. We'll drag her down if we stay there. Since you're all here, if you want to stay and see the situation, then stay." Sima Yuqi said. "Thank you." Feng Ji cupped his hands towards them and waited at the side with his brothers. Roar. In this half-day, the roars of beasts from the spirit barrier became more and more frequent. It made the faces of those who stayed blossom. Judging from the roar, the auspicious beast doesn't seem to be in a good condition. Someone said. Could it be that its evolution is in danger? Someone guessed. It better not die. Otherwise, wouldn't I have come here for nothing? Sima Yu heard the discussion of the people beside her, and heard the roar of endless pain. She couldn't bear it, and called out Little Roar. The moment he came out, she merged with him successfully. Let's go. Sima Yu carried Little Seven, and flew towards the center of the lake. When she encountered the spirit barrier shook gently and let her in. Someone actually went in. That's incredible. Isn't there a spirit barrier? How did she get in? Yeah, could it be that this spirit barrier is useless? It can't be. I'm guessing she must have some treasure on her. That's not for sure. Someone agreed. But whether it's useful or not, won't we know once we try? Yeah, let's try. Many people thought so. So for a moment, whether they were in the air or on land, they all flew towards the lake. What surprised everyone was that except for Sima Yu, many people who followed behind, regardless of their strength, were all blocked outside the spirit barrier. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you. Chapter 713. When Sima Yue and Little Seven entered the enchantment, an old man on the island in the middle of the lake suddenly opened his eyes and leaped away. In front of the island, there was a figure soaking in the water. Only a small head was exposed. From the outside, it looks like there is a lot of fog. I didn't expect there to be nothing inside. Little Seven said. That smoke was originally produced by the array formation. It was used to block the view of the outside world. Otherwise, how could a normal mist block a person's divine sense? Sima Yue said. Oh. Little Seven nodded in understanding. Yu, why do I feel that this array formation is a little familiar? Have you seen this array before? Sima Yue was doubtful, but she was not surprised. Of course you find it familiar. An old man appeared in front of the two of them, and looked at them coldly. When Little Seven heard this voice, she subconsciously jumped up, and hid behind Sima Yu with a whoosh. She cried out, Yu, why are you here? She knew it. Why did this formation feel so familiar? Wasn't this the formation that had trapped her main body for so long? I also want to ask, why are you here? Why did he run out? How did old Yuan manage you? Fan Lei waited for Little Seven. He promised me. Little Seven shouted at Fan Lei. Is this Vice President Fan? Sima Yue bowed to Fan Lei. Who are you? Fan Lei looked at Sima Yue. He sensed that the two of them had come in, so he came over. He thought that if they came in with ill intentions, he would deal with them first. He didn't expect to see Little Seven with her. I'm a student from the inner courtyard. My teacher is Su Jin. Sima Yue said. Also, I'm Little Two's relative. Fan Lei's eyes narrowed. Are you Sima Yue? Director Fan knows me. Sima Yue was slightly surprised. Little Two said so. The vice president flicked his sleeves. Since you're here, come over. Vice president, how is Little Two now? Sima Yue asked. The situation isn't very good. Fan Lei said. Sima Yue felt that Principal Fan was colder than other principals. He didn't talk much and his voice was cold. Before they reached the center of the lake, Sima Yue saw Little Two in the shallow water, with a pained expression. After not seeing him for a few years, Little Two had changed a lot. His original 7 or 8 years old appearance had turned into a teenager. His facial features had matured, but he still had some childishness. His face was a little pale, and his brows were tightly furrowed. It seemed like he was enduring intense pain. Director Fan, have you been here for the past 2 years? Sima Yue asked. Yes, he has been soaking in this water for 2 years. Dean Fan had accompanied Little Two day and night for the past 2 years. Seeing his forbearance and strength, he liked him very much. When he talked about him, his tone softened a lot. Ayo! Little Two's closed eyes suddenly opened, and his black pupils turned golden. He raised his head and roared, releasing the aura of an auspicious beast without reservation. This was the aura he had sensed from the outside. It was this aura that she and Bei Gong felt was Little Two's aura, which was why they suspected he was here. They didn't expect it to really be him. Little Two's facial features became distorted from the pain. Large beads of sweat fell into the lake, splashing up little ripples. His body had changed a lot in the ripples. Sima Yue saw Little Two like this and felt distressed, saying, Does he feel so uncomfortable every time he changes? Since his bloodline has already awakened, the human bloodline in his body has been nibbled away. Now his changes are based on his strength. Every time his strength increases, his appearance will change. However, because of the restrictions on his body, he still needs some time to complete the transformation. There had been news of him since 2 years ago. Didn't that mean he had endured for 2 years? The most dangerous stage has passed, and he is about to complete the transformation. The danger now is not this, but the people outside. Fan Lei saw the densely packed people on the shore and felt a headache. Little Two had endured the transformation this time. His golden pupils turned back to black, and he regained his clarity. Seeing Sima Yue standing on the shore, a big smile appeared on his pale face. Brother, why are you here? I came here by accident and didn't expect to meet you. Everyone was worried about you before. It's good to see you safe. Sima Yue said with a smile. Brother, wait for me to go out. I can always be with you guys. Little Two said happily. Yes, we will wait for you. Bei Gong and the rest are still waiting for us outside. You will see them when you go out. Sima Yue nodded and smiled. Okay. Ayo. Little Two's consciousness was swallowed by the changes in his body. His pupils turned golden again, and his body started to change slightly. He looks like he is in pain. Little Seven saw Little Two like this, and felt much worse than when she was evolving. Yes, even though Fan Lei had seen it many times, he still couldn't bear to see him like this. He transmitted to Little Seven, You can help him. I can help him? Little Seven blinked her eyes. Just a little bit of essence will do, Fan Lei said. I wanted to ask old Mao to get some, but he said you were not in school. How about a little bit? Little Seven retracted her hand and said unwillingly, It will hurt. It's not like you haven't been in pain before, Fan Lei said. When we go back, I will ask old Yuan to give you something nice to eat. Little Seven was a little Yue. Seeing Sima Yue looking at her worriedly, she said unwillingly, Okay then. Just a little bit. A little bit will do. Go. Little Seven let go of Sima Yue's hand and walked towards the water. Sima Yue didn't know about their conversation. Seeing that Little Seven was about to go over, she grabbed her and asked, Little Seven, what are you doing? I am going over to take a look. Little Seven said. Little Two might be in danger if you go near him. Don't go over. Sima Yue said. It's okay. Little Seven said. He is in pain. I will go and help him. After speaking, she continued to walk forward. At the same time, her body emitted a faint fragrance. Little Two, who was in pain, felt better after smelling this fragrance. Little Seven walked to Little Two's side and bit her finger. She put it into little Two's mouth and said, "Don't bite me. Just suck my blood." Little Two found the source of his comfort and sucked on little Seven's finger. The fragrance spread in the surroundings. Sima Yue thought about the time when she advanced in her sleep. When she woke up, this was the smell in her mouth. It was little Seven who helped her. It was one thing to guess it, but it was another to see it with one's own eyes. Little Seven let little Two drink her blood for a while before retracting her hand. When she retracted her hand, she accidentally touched little Two's tongue. She felt itchy and glared at him. However, she didn't expect to meet a pair of bright eyes. Chapter 7:14. Little Two only recovered his clarity for a moment before he went berserk again. Little Seven returned to the shore and took out 2 of the pills that Sima Yue had made for her. "Little Seven, thank you." Sima Yue touched her head and said gratefully, "I did it for you," Little Seven said. "Otherwise I wouldn't have done it." "No matter what, thank you," Sima Yue said. Fan Lei glanced at Sima Yue. He knew what Little Seven was like back in the academy. He never thought that she would be so close to someone. "There are more and more people outside." Fan Lei furrowed his brows as he looked at the people who kept coming through the void. He was worried about what would happen next. From the outside, it was a thick fog, but from the inside it was very clear. Sima Yue saw that the sky and the ground were filled with people. They were completely surrounded. "Dean Fan, can you cut through the void and open a spatial passage?" Fan Lei shook his head and said, "Someone just sealed off the entire lake and the space above it. Didn't you notice that the people who came later didn't come from above the lake? Then can you break the seal?" "At least half an hour," Fan Lei said. "But I don't think the people outside will give us that much time. Although this spirit formation has isolated the people outside, it has also isolated the space here. If you want to open a spatial tunnel or use a teleportation array, you will have to undo this formation." Sima Yue said, "But once we break the formation, I'm afraid those people won't give us half an hour to break the formation." Fan Lei finally looked her in the eye. "I didn't expect you to be so familiar with formations. Aren't you Su Jin's student?" "Not an alchemist. I know a little about alchemy and formations," Sima Yue said. "To be able to enter Su Jin's eyes, it must not be a simple matter. Since you understand the characteristics of this array formation, you should also be proficient in array formations. Su Jin has taken in a good student." "Thank you for your compliment, Dean Fan," Sima Yue replied. "Old Fan, how are we going to leave?" Seven saw the people outside and asked. "I don't know either," Fan Lei said. "How could you not know?" Little Seven didn't believe him. "You've always looked dull, but you're full of ideas. Don't try to fool us." Sima Yue looked at Little Seven, and then at Fan Lei. She felt that her relationship with the principals was very subtle. Fan Lei still shook his head and said, "There's really no other way this time. I didn't think that so many people would come, much less someone like the One Mountain Sex Patriarch. Moreover, there were quite a few of them at this level. They sealed the space because they were afraid that we would directly tear through the void and leave, or use a temporary teleportation array." "Then what should we do?" Seven asked. "I've already sent a message to Old Yuan and the others. Now we can only hope that this teleportation array can be delayed until they arrive." Fan Lei said. "What if we can't? We have to drag it out even if we can't." Fan Lei said. "Dean Fan, how long until Little Two completes his evolution?" "It shouldn't be long. Looking at him just now, there should be 1 or 2 more times." Fan Lei said. Boom! Suddenly, a wave of spirit energy hit the barrier, letting out an earth-shattering sound. "Those people are attacking the barrier." Seven roared. "Maybe it's because more and more people are coming. Those people are getting anxious." Sima Yue said. "Those people are starting to attack the barrier. This is troublesome." Fan Lei said. "What? Your barrier is so useless that it can't block those people's attacks?" Seven asked. "This barrier can't be broken in a short while, but they started attacking so early. I'm afraid this barrier won't be able to last until Little Two completes his evolution." Fan Lei said. Boom! Boom! Waves of spirit energy hit the barrier, causing the surroundings to shake. Those people are attacking together. Sima Yue's expression changed. Fan Lei looked at the people attacking in the air, and was very angry. These are all patriarch-level people. They actually joined forces to attack us. How despicable. The One Mountain Sect's patriarch doesn't look like much, but his strength is not bad. Sima Yue looked at the black baldy in the air and said, I didn't think that Jia Hongguang would also come. Fan Lei looked at the person opposite the black baldy and said, Who is Jia Hongguang? A vice pavilion master of a sage pavilion. Fan Lei said, This person's actions are ruthless. He's very different from the sage pavilion's righteous style. His words were very skillful. The sage pavilion's righteous style showed that they were not righteous in the dark. Jia Hongguang, where's your dead senior brother? The black baldy looked unhappy when he saw Jia Hongguang. The attack that was going to hit the barrier changed direction and attacked Jia Hongguang. Jia Hongguang had just arrived and had not asked about the situation here before the black baldy's attack came. However, his reaction was very fast. He quickly condensed spirit energy and dissolved the black baldy's attack. Black baldy, you're still as ugly as ever. Jia Hongguang glanced at the black baldy in disgust and landed gracefully beside Nalan Lan and the others. Master's uncles. Ma Lin and Nalan Lan bowed to Jia Hongguang. How's the situation? Jia Hongguang asked. The auspicious beast's aura is getting thicker and thicker. I think the auspicious beast is still evolving. Ma Lin said. 2 people went in before. The others wanted to go in, but they were blocked outside. 2 people went in. Jia Hongguang's gaze darkened. Which sect are they from? They're not from any other sect. No one knows them. Ma Lin felt guilty when Jia Hongguang glared at him. Jia Hongguang's expression became even more gloomy. He stared at Ma Lin until he broke out in cold sweat. Nalan Lan saw Ma Lin's frightened look and stepped forward, saying, Master's uncle, now is not the time to investigate who went in. The auspicious beast's aura is getting thicker and thicker. We should think of a way to go in now. If we let others beat us to it and snatch the auspicious beast, it won't be good. Jia Hongguang glanced at Nalan Lan and retracted some of the hostility on his body. You're right. We can't let those ugly people get the auspicious beast. My 2 friends, come with me to break this enchantment. The black baldy heard Jia Hongguang's words and was so angry that he stomped his feet and roared. Jia Hongguang, what are you saying? Sect Master, now is not the time to quarrel with them. The auspicious beast is more important. A cold beauty advised. You guys come with me to break this enchantment. We can't fall behind the sage pavilion. Yes, Sect Master. Jia Hongguang, and the 2 people who came with him. The black baldy brought his group of beauties. And the others who stopped because of the change just now, all looked at the enchantment. Chapter 7:15. Sima Yue saw that these people seemed to be planning to attack the enchantment together, and she was worried that the enchantment would not be able to withstand it. With so many people attacking at once, old Fan, your array won't be able to take it, right? Little Seven said. Do you want me to go out and help you send them flying? As long as you don't cause me any trouble, Fan Lei said. You stay here and look after Little Tuesday. I'll go out and buy some time. Sima Yue didn't think it would be useful for Fan Lei to go out, but Little Two hadn't finished evolving yet. It wouldn't be good if he was interrupted at this time. She nodded and said, Be careful, Principal Fan. If you can't hold on any longer, come back here. This formation can still hold on for a while. I understand. After Dean Fan finished speaking, he leaped through the enchantment and arrived outside. Just as those people were about to attack, they suddenly saw a person pass through the barrier and stop above it. Oh, the person hiding in the barrier has appeared. The condensed spiritual energy in Black Baldy's hand did not dissipate. Who are you? You actually dare to seize the auspicious beast. There are no auspicious beasts here. Leave quickly. Fan Lei put his hands behind his back and looked at the crowd. Since when did the people of the heavenly sect monopolize the auspicious beast? Since you dared to do it, then you should have the courage to admit it. Otherwise, How will the academy teach its students in the future? Jia Hongguang recognized Fan Lei and mocked him. My heavenly sect has always been open and above board. Since I said there are no auspicious beasts here, then naturally there are none. Fan Lei said, this is only a student of our academy who is recuperating here. He cannot be disturbed. Everyone, please do us a favor. TSK, just because you say there are no auspicious beasts, there are no auspicious beasts? A bearded man howled. Everyone can feel the aura of this auspicious beast. Do you think everyone is a fool? Yeah. If there really isn't an auspicious beast, open this barrier, and let everyone see if there really isn't one inside. If only the student you mentioned is recuperating inside, then we naturally won't disturb him, someone said. That's right. This is a good idea. Black Baldy smiled and said, you open this barrier. When we see the situation inside, we naturally won't make things difficult for the heavenly sect. Fan Lei's face was calm. Although little too used to have human blood, his blood had awakened. Recently, he had devoured all of his human blood and had become a spirit beast. If these people saw him, how could they not be tempted? Why, you don't want to, Jia Hongguang said. Did we hit the nail on the head? As I said, there are no auspicious beasts here. If I open the enchantment now, what if one of you accidentally injures my student? Fan Lei said, if you want to see, wait until his injuries are completely healed. No, Jia Hongguang said. Either you open it, or we open it ourselves. You choose. Jia Hongguang, do you want to go against my Sky Heaven School? Fan Lei shouted. It's not that my Sage Pavilion wants to go against the heavenly sect, but that your heavenly sect wants to go against all of us. Jia Hongguang said. That's right. Someone echoed. We all felt the aura of the auspicious beast, but you said there was no auspicious beast here. For the sake of the Sky Heaven School, we gave you a chance to prove to everyone that there was no one inside. This way, we would give up and not make things difficult for you. But you don't want to. What does this mean? It means that you have a guilty conscience. You don't dare to let everyone see the situation inside, because it's not just a student healing like you said. Jia Hongguang continued. Tell me, if this isn't you going against everyone, then what is it? Why are you talking so much nonsense with him? Just go ahead. Black Baldy shouted. Others were afraid of the Sky Heaven School, but he, Black Baldy, was not. He had previously bragged to others that he would catch an auspicious beast to take back as a gatekeeper. If he didn't bring the auspicious beast back today, where would he put his face? Everyone. Since the people of the Sky Heaven School don't know how to appreciate favors, we don't have to give them face. No matter who this auspicious beast belongs to in the end, we have to open this enchantment reasonably. How about it? Okay. If this enchantment doesn't open, no one can get the auspicious beast. That's right. Let's work together to break this enchantment. Okay. Everyone present agreed. They had just attacked this enchantment for a while, but it didn't have any effect. If everyone attacked together, this enchantment would definitely not be able to withstand it. They had to break the enchantment to be able to do the following. Suddenly, a group of flying beasts flew over. Jixing, it's so lively here. Tuoba Wuchen stood on the leading flying beast and smiled at the people around him. Well, there are a lot of people. Feng Jixing glanced over, and didn't have much interest. Tuoba family and Feng family, why are they here? Tuoba Wuchen and Feng Jixing have been missing for many years. Why are they out now? They came back more than 2 years ago. Don't you know? I heard that they were cheated by a family. If it wasn't because that family was still resisting the devil race in the bloody passage, I'm afraid they would have been gone long ago. Someone whispered. If the Tuoba family and Feng family are involved, then isn't it even more hopeless for us? That's not necessarily true. There are more and more people from these big powers. The more likely we are to fish in troubled waters. But I heard that the Feng family and Sage Pavilion are not on good terms. I don't know if they will fight this time. Maybe they really will. That Jia Hongguang is stronger than Feng Jixing. But the people from the Feng family are not to be trifled with. Let's wait for a good show. Jia Hongguang's expression darkened when he saw Feng Jixing. In these 2 years, they had interacted a lot. But even if he was stronger than him, he couldn't gain an advantage every time they fought. This array master's battle power was too strong. Sima Yue was a little excited when she saw Feng Zhixing. She hadn't seen him for a long time. But wasn't he in the middle region? Why was he here? She didn't know if he was here for Little Tuesday. The Feng family and Tuoba family were big clans in the middle region. The guards who came with them were not ordinary people. As long as she recognized them, based on their friendship, it was very possible for them not to participate in this matter. They might even help her deal with these people. But she looked at the people around her and didn't go out immediately. Zhixing, I heard that there is an auspicious beast here. Do you think we should also get involved? Tuoba Wuchen saw the people whose expressions gradually changed and smiled a little obnoxiously. Feng Zhixing looked at the people by the lake one by one. He didn't see the person he wanted to see and frowned slightly. Not interested. Take it if you like, Feng Zhixing said lightly. He didn't put the people present in his eyes. Chapter 716. The following is provided for you. Chapter 716. Chapter 716. Please enjoy. Tuoba Wuchen saw his cold appearance and tapped his shoulder with the folding fan in his hand. That's an auspicious beast. Are you really not interested at all? Feng Zhixing didn't even bother to look at him. He scanned the crowd again and really didn't find Sima Yue. He wanted to leave. It's just an auspicious beast. If you want it, hurry up and go back early. Okay. Tuoba Wuchen saw Fan Lei and asked, Are you Principal Fan Lei? Yes. Young master is? Fan Lei saw that Tuoba Wuchen didn't intend to make a move immediately, so he didn't shed all pretense of cordiality and responded politely. Now he could delay for as long as possible. It's really you. Tuoba Wuchen looked a little embarrassed. This trip is difficult. What's wrong? Han Ersai. That kid said that if I meet Principal Fan, I have to help him. But you see, it's obvious that he's going against thousands of people alone. If I help him, won't I have to go against so many people? Tuoba Wuchen let out a long sigh. It seemed that this matter was difficult and gave him a headache. In Yue is also from the academy. Logically speaking, we should also help. Feng Zhixing said. Those people had been paying attention to the situation here. When they heard that Tuoba Wuchen wanted to steal the auspicious beast, although they felt a little depressed, it was still reasonable. With them, breaking the enchantment would be more assured. But what was the situation now? They wanted to help Fan Lei? Young Master Tuoba, this heavenly sect person is trying to monopolize the auspicious beast. Are you going to be enemies with so many of us for him? Someone asked. Tuoba Wuchen waved his folding fan, and the person who spoke was beaten to the ground. At the same time, Tuoba Wuchen's body flew out and landed beside that person. Tuoba Wuchen stepped on that person's chest and scolded angrily. I can do whatever I want. How dare you threaten me? Young Master Tuoba, what are you doing? That person's fellow disciple saw his own person being beaten and scolded. Didn't you see what I did? Tuoba Wuchen turned around and glared. He dared to threaten my Tuoba family. I'm already being merciful by not taking his life. How dare you question me? Tuoba Wuchen, don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you have the Tuoba family behind you. The person under Tuoba Wuchen's feet roared. I don't think I'm invincible, but if I want to destroy you, I still have the ability. Tuoba Wuchen said, especially you. After he finished speaking, he exerted force with his foot. The man spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. No one knew if he was dead or just fainted. Tuoba Wuchen, you've gone too far. That person's fellow disciple berated. I didn't go too far. It's just that someone offended the dignity of my Tuoba family. How can I ignore it? Tuoba Wuchen retracted his foot and looked at that person. What, you also want to try? That person was so frightened by the killing intent in Tuoba Wuchen's eyes that he broke out in a cold sweat. But he was still trying to be brave. Tuoba Wuchen, even if your Tuoba family is a big family in the middle region, there are so many people here today. Do you want to kill them all and become the enemy of the entire continent? I don't plan to do that. Even if I wanted to, my family's old man wouldn't agree. But for those who offend my Tuoba family, we won't let them go. Tuoba Wuchen wasn't stupid. This guy dragged everyone down, so he wouldn't foolishly follow his words. Everyone's thoughts turned a few times. Tuoba Wuchen's meaning was obvious. They didn't want to become enemies with everyone. But if anyone dared to offend the Tuoba family, they wouldn't shrink back. Tuoba Wuchen flew back to his flying beast and said, "Everyone, the Heavenly Heaven School isn't to be trifled with. Today, you're forcing their vice principal. Have you thought about what will happen to the continent if you become their enemy? This auspicious beast is a spirit beast of heaven and earth. It doesn't belong to the Heavenly Heaven School. The things of heaven and earth belong to the people of the world. We're just chasing treasures. We don't want to be enemies with the Heavenly Heaven School." An old man opened his mouth. His turbid eyes shot out a sharp gaze. However, his words described the conflict with the Sky Heaven School as a pursuit of treasure, and not as an enemy. Even the old bastard of the Tianshan sect has come out? Tuoba Wuchen seemed to have just seen the old man. "I heard that your lifespan is almost up. You want to use the blood essence of the auspicious beast to increase your lifespan, right? Don't talk nonsense." The old ancestor of the Tianshan sect shouted angrily. "If this auspicious beast is obtained, it will naturally be given to the younger generation of the sect to contract. How can it increase lifespan? No." Tuoba Wuchen looked at him with an expression that said, "So you won't fight with us for the auspicious beast? The auspicious beast is so rare. We naturally won't give it up." The old ancestor of the Tianshan sect said, "Tuoba Wuchen, don't confuse the public here." "I'm not confusing the public." Tuoba Wuchen looked innocent. "I'm telling everyone openly that I'm protecting this auspicious beast. Please give me some face. The Tuoba family will be grateful in the future." "The same goes for the Feng family," Shimen Feng echoed. Some people were a little hesitant. Between becoming enemies with the Tuoba family and the Feng family and the auspicious beast, they couldn't make a choice. Some people who reacted quickly immediately made a decision in their hearts. They weren't strong. Today so many people came. Even if they wanted to fight, it wouldn't be their turn. Moreover, they would become enemies with the Tuoba family and the Feng family. After today's matter, the Tuoba family and the Feng family wouldn't let it go. Thinking of this, some people immediately stood up and cupped their hands towards Tuoba Wuchen. "Since young Master Tuoba said so, then we'll give you some face. We won't participate in today's matter anymore." "Thank you everyone." Tuoba Wuchen cupped his hands and smiled. "Wuchen will remember everyone's friendship today. Young Master Tuoba is too polite. Let's go." That person waved his hand, and the people behind him left. Their strength wasn't very strong. As more and more large forces got involved, their weak strength would only be cannon fodder. If they left now, they could still save their lives. After the first wave of people left, some other small forces, or people with low strength, also chose to leave. After a while, almost a third of the people left. The rest were people from the large forces, in the middle and outer regions. Seeing those people leave, the rest of the people didn't have any objections. The fewer people there were, the fewer opponents there would be. Even if these people didn't pose a threat to them, leaving would save them a lot of time. "Thank you, young Master Tuoba." Fan Lei cupped his hands towards Tuoba Wuchen. "You're too polite. Who told my nephew to be your student?" Tuoba Wuchen waved his fan and said, "Principal Fan, there are still so many people left. It seems like they won't give up until they reach their goal. Tell me, what's down here?" "A student of my inner courtyard is here to heal," Fan Lei said. "Since it's like this, why haven't you dispersed?" Tuoba Wuchen asked. "Tuoba Wuchen, Feng Zhixing, you came back and didn't stay in your family to cultivate. Why did you come here to make a fool of yourself? Actively cooperate with this special action to combat obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Book friends, please report. Thank you everyone." Chapter 717. When Tuoba Wuchen heard this familiar sarcasm, he lifted his chin and said, I said that the Sage Pavilion would get involved no matter where they go. How is it? I wasn't wrong, was I? It's everywhere. Feng Zhixing narrowed his eyes, and a murderous aura seeped out. Tuoba Wu Chun. Others may be afraid of your Tuoba clan, but my Sage Pavilion is not. Jia Hongguang said. Today's auspicious beast, my Sage Pavilion will definitely take it. Then kill them all. Feng Zhixing glanced at the people from the Sage Pavilion. Teacher Feng? Nailin Lan was stunned when she saw Feng Zhixing. Her heart was filled with hatred. Wasn't it because of him that she had been expelled from Imperial College? Who would have thought that he was actually from this continent? No wonder he was so strong back then. Junior sister, do you know him? Ma Lin asked. I do. When I was in the continent below you, he was a teacher in our academy. He suddenly appeared and disappeared. So he's from this continent. Nailin Lan glared at Feng Zhixing. She guessed that since he was here, Sima Yue must have come as well. Tuoba Wuchen didn't hear Nailin Lan's words, but he saw her hateful eyes. He teased, is this the saintess of the branch? Zhixing, why is she looking at you like that? She looks so sad. Could it be that you have abandoned her before? Feng Zhixing glanced at Nailin Lan, and felt that she was somewhat familiar. However, she was wearing a veil and only her eyes were exposed. He couldn't recall who she was. I don't know him, he said coldly. I say, are you guys planning to keep chatting here? If you want to chat, then move further away. Don't block our way. Black Baldy roared impatiently. Chat my ass, I'm not in the mood to chat with you. I said that I will protect this auspicious beast today. If you don't want to go against my Tuoba family, then scram. Tuoba Wuchen shouted back at Black Baldy. Tuoba Wuchen, do you really think that you can go against so many of us? The ancestor of the Tianshan school shouted. Just the few of us are enough to deal with you. Do you dare? Aren't you afraid that my family's old man will flip out? Tuoba Wuchen asked shamelessly. PFFF. Sima Yue laughed out loud. Tuoba Wuchen's behavior reminded her of the people on Earth who competed with their fathers. Roar. Little Two suddenly roared. Yoyue's heart tightened as she looked up at the sky to observe the situation. She turned around and saw that Little Two's entire body had ruptured. His body constantly emitted cracking sounds, and his blood quickly dyed the surrounding blood red. He should be undergoing the final evolution. Little Seven said. Remember to stop it at this time. If not, he won't be able to evolve anymore, and will forever be a cripple. In serious cases, he might even lose his life. Sima Yi took out a pill and flicked it. The pill immediately landed in Little Two's mouth and melted in his mouth. You look. Little Seven pointed to the sky and said anxiously. Sima Yue looked over and saw that those people had become excited because they felt Little Two's aura. Tuoba Wuchen's deterrence was no longer effective on them. Their desire for the auspicious beast made them crazy. At this moment, many people started attacking the barrier again. If they continue like this, the barrier won't last much longer. Little Two is at a critical moment. I have to go out and take a look. Little Seven, you stay here and look after Little Tuesday. Okay. Little Seven nodded, but she didn't say that she wanted to go out with her. Sima Yue called out Honor Rock and the elders of the Egret clan, saying, You guys come with me. This barrier could be left but not entered. When she came in, it was because she had fused with Little Roar. Now that Honor Rock and the others went out, they couldn't come in by themselves. As the barrier weakened, the fog inside also became thinner. They could already vaguely see the situation inside. Fanlei, let's see how long your barrier can last. A large man attacked the barrier and laughed loudly. Sima Yu happened to come out of the spirit barrier with her men and attacked the person who was laughing. That person was only a divine emperor. After being attacked by Sima Yue, he didn't have time to react and was sent flying. This is my heavenly sex territory. Whoever dares to attack this barrier will be killed by the elders. Sima Yue ordered coldly. Yes, young master. The elders were all experienced people. When they stood on the lake, those people immediately didn't dare to move. Feng Zhixing saw Yue standing in the air against the wind and smiled for the first time since coming here. Although she changed her appearance, the people behind her didn't. The elders of the egret clan had always followed her, and would only listen to her. Who are you? When those people saw so many transformed beasts suddenly appear, everyone's movements stopped. I am a student of the heavenly sect. Sima Yue said. Principal Fan has already told you that there are no auspicious beasts below. You should quickly leave. A student of the heavenly sect? When did the heavenly sect have such a powerful student? You. Tuoba Wuchen also recognized Sima Yue. At the Bloody Passage, he also knew that Sima Yue had brought the egret clan people there. Thank you, young Master Tuoba, for being willing to help us in our hour of need. Sima Yue interrupted him, and said with a salute. Tuoba Wuchen's eyes turned twice and understood what she meant. This girl didn't intend to let him reveal her identity. Well said, well said. I can't stand those people with their tails up in the sky. Tuoba Wuchen intentionally or unintentionally glanced at Jia Hongguang and the others. Suddenly, someone pointed to the lake and shouted, "There really is a person inside. It really is a person." Sima Yue and Fan Lei looked over, and saw that Little Two was crazily absorbing spiritual power. The surrounding spiritual power was all gathered over, and even the spiritual power of the array was sucked over. The array couldn't get enough spiritual power to support it, and became shaky. The originally concealing fog disappeared, and the people outside could clearly see the situation inside. There is really only one person. How is that possible? Where did the auspicious beast aura come from? The bald black man saw Little Two and exclaimed. The others were also very surprised. This was clearly the aura of an auspicious beast. How did it become a person? I already said that this is a student of my inner courtyard healing here. Fan Lei said. No. Tianshan Mountain's old ancestor shouted. That is a child with a bloodline. He is activating the auspicious beast bloodline. No, he has completely activated his bloodline, and is now undergoing a complete evolution. If the evolution is successful, he will be a complete auspicious beast. He is a humanoid auspicious beast from the beginning. This is better than an ordinary auspicious beast. A person who came with Jia Hongguang said. So Hongguang, you have profited. Another person laughed. My luck is really good. Jia Hongguang's gloomy face finally had a trace of a smile. I think you are really lucky. Sima Yue coldly snorted. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.